Once there was a hunter who saw what others could not. With a magic case in her backpack, she roamed with wild abandon into the great unknown. Her gaze inescapable, her reflexes lightning fast. When armies swarmed, she went through. With eyes open wide, hands steady, holding, watching, capturing everything in sight.
The Crucial Pro DDR5 RAM kit comes with a sleek, modern look that will complement any build. But aesthetics aside, it's the performance that really matters. So let's dive into it. The default JEDEC timings are 46, 45, 45, but it does come with 2 XMP and Expo settings for those looking for a little more performance. With XMP 3.0 Profile 1, you can push the speed up to 5600 megatransfers per second. If you prefer a slightly lower speed but tighter timings, Profile 2 offers 5200 megatransfers per second at 42, 42, 42 timings. We've run some benchmarks and stress tests to give you an idea of how it performs. In general, dropping the speed and tightening the timings with the second XMP/Expo profile yielded better results for us on our test system. Paired with a Ryzen 7800X 3D, we saw anywhere from a 1 to 5% performance bump depending on workloads. All in all, the Crucial Pro DDR5 64GB RAM kit by Micron is a fantastic choice for first-time builders and enthusiasts alike.
What's up guys, hope you all are doing good. We already finished game number 1 and you guys are watching the Esports Club Showdown Series Season 7 for Valorant, powered by Crucial by Micron alongside our media partner Gossip.gg. It's gonna be me, Alzora Aiden, alongside Baba Gusta. Baba Gusta, game number 1 done and dusted, but game number 2, what are the expectations?
Well, I'd say my expectations would be that we might expect to see another decider just like we expected on the first matchup, but hopefully without any without any issues that we had previously. So yeah, second matchup, I would say that it will be an amazing one to look at because the matchup that we're going to have will be none other than 120 FPS versus ASTERISK. Now ASTERISK, they have won season 6 of this Showdown series, and they are here to make a statement to show that we are still the dominating team in this series. Will it happen or will it not? Maybe this match we'll be able to see that.
True that ASTERISK has been a very promising team throughout the game itself. In the previous season, they could accomplish multiple unstandable fleets. And you know, the amount of things that we talk about, how to assess certain kind of dangers, how to go ahead and rectify your mistakes, ASTERISK has been doing it so far so good. So moving forward against 120 FPS, we have seen 120 FPS also take part in Season 6, where they went towards a lower bracket round 2 and then later on lost. So now it's all about the redemption arc for them. Let's see how well they can focus on to their bigger picture and head towards that upper bracket, not head towards a lower bracket is what I would suggest.
Yeah, I mean, talk about the second match itself. I would say that the map that we're going to get will be an amazing one to look at because since this is ASTERISK, like I said, Season 6 winners, we might see a similar changes. I wouldn't say the same. We might see some changes related to maps, or maybe we might see some changes related with the agents ever since that the patch notes has been introduced. So We've been a lot of changes regarding with Neon and the rest of the agents, which definitely could bring up some changes accordingly with the type of duelist or the initiators that they want to pick. But all in all, I have to say, second matchup, 120 FPS and Asterix. I would say that I'm currently rooting for Asterix, but why don't we just take a look at the brackets itself, right? Because we just completed our first matchup. We also have our updated brackets right here in your screens, 1 to 2, with Team Amigos Esports securing their matchup where they will either go up against 120 FPS or Asterix, which will be the second matchup for today.
Well, true. We're waiting for the golden hour, the golden opportunity. 120 FPS, they have the opportunity presented at their doorstep, and I'm hoping that they're going to take out the maximum value out of it. 3 maps, it's a BO3, and hopefully they can take things for a 2-0 or a 3-2. You never know. It can happen. There are possibilities. 2-1, sorry. The possibilities are abundant, but 120 FPS, up till now, what I've seen, that they always fall short whenever it comes to those duels, and whenever they lose it, that's where the rounds tend to slip by. But Asterix, on the other end, till the very end, there is a potential where they can squeeze the maximum out of that round itself. Whether it be a 1v3 situation, you could see Asterix player going ahead and clutching it out. So those are the kind of situations that Asterix have always been putting themselves through, and they have proven themselves to be those warriors who are alone and they're lethal. But talking about the level up leaderboard,
yeah, level of leaderboards still with the same positions as we saw in the first matchup. Doxer, Ceylon and Caramel, all 3 of them currently in their own respective places. Aspas still on 4th place, although we haven't seen the current changes from the amount of stats that we did get to witness from the first matchup. Hopefully in the next future matches, which would happen maybe in tomorrow or day after tomorrow, where we get to meet these teams, we'll be having the updated stats. But right about now, the level up leaderboards currently, Doxer is the one leading the charge, and Ceylon and Caramel followed up with 2nd and 3rd place, in which they will receive a really great official Riot Gear goodies that will come into their way. But yeah, talk about it. The entire level up leaderboards, it is looking really crispy. I mean, I have to say, most of the players, we still have returning players from Valorant, and we also have players that are new to the scene, but they're also making a name for themselves. And what better way than to display it in the leaderboards itself?
Leaderboard showcases that you have the individual might to go ahead and clutch rounds, get all of those frags, even play multiple maps as well. So it depends. All of those stats are helping all of these players out in order to showcase their gameplay as well. And the top 3, like Babagasta mentioned, they're going to get Riot goodies, and that's the best way to go ahead and flex the way you play it inside the tournament. And after that, about the lobbies, however you can grind and however you can tell all of your friends that, you know what, I've gotten this Riot goodie. I don't think so. You have it. Have something which is unique.
I mean, not only just the players would be here to showcase the goodies that they have, it's also a way for other players to be even more excited about it. They want to compete for the leaderboards as well, right? So how about let's just focus on the match as of now, as we take a look at the map videos themselves for the second matchup between 120 FPS versus Team Asterix. So interesting pick from Asterix, as they'll make a decision to go in on split. Second map will be Bind, and of course deciders will be Ascent. How happy are you right now knowing that the Ascent is on the deciders?
I'm super happy. To be very honest, here's the pattern that I can see. Haven right off the bat has been banned by the likes of Asterix. They know it's not their forte. They want to keep it till the very end in order to showcase their gameplay as well. But talking about 120 FPS, they have that exact amount of insight of Sunset that it's not going to work out for the best. Hence, they've gone for all of those 2-sided map rather than going for 1 3-sided and then 2 2-sided. So hopefully things don't get near-sighted for them. And other than that, yes, I'm expecting some banger of a performance starting off in Split itself. Bind, we could not see the action in the previous game, but this time it's going to be right in the top 2 itself. So we're going to enjoy that to the core, and vanilla map.
Yeah, vanilla map it is, deciders, which will be on map Ascent. But I have to ask you something about the agents pick that's going to happen on Split. Since when it comes to the initiators, we always see Sova on maps like Ascent, on the other kind of maps. But when it comes to a map like Split, they would rather prefer Fade over Sova. So could you explain to me as to why many players would prefer having a different initiators that would provide different types of info rather than relying on Sova's abilities?
See, here's the thing. Most of the players out there are not that great with trigonometry or geometry, right? You need to have those 2 clicks on your recon dart in order to get that perfect angle. If it falls somewhere towards teensy far away, the angle itself is going to create all of that chaos. You never know, there might be an omen lurking around in the corners. And it's not about fade. It's about bringing breach into the picture.
Absolutely,
you can
yes.
go in for that enabler, enable your duelists and get that early frag itself. That's how you can go ahead and get that insight.
Yeah, and talking about the match itself, yes, all 3 maps have been determined. It's all decided. All you have to do is just wait on what kind of agents would they pick. So I'm guessing on a map like Spit, it is better to have a sentinel like a Cypher that could provide you with some information. KJ, yes, KJ could help. Like I said, it's decisions, right? It's the decisions that makes the players prefer, like, which one should we stick towards the meta? Should we go in with the explosive executes, maybe, bring in the neon, which could, come by from the other side, but maybe we might have some different agents that could be available from the duelist's end.
I would be so happy if I would see Sage in both the corners. Sage in both the corners will give you the room, the space to control the crowd which is barging in towards Haven. And that's one of the, better things about getting a Sage. The barrier orb, the slow orb all works out to perfection. So if they bring in a Sage in the entire meta, it's going to be great. Sage, Breach, alongside smokes, you can go for Omen because of the rechargeable. You can even go for Clove depending upon your playstyle. If you are a tad bit aggressive, for example, because I'm Batman the way he was playing and always chose Omen, I thought that Clove would have been a perfect pick for him as a controller, because there's this ultimate as well, Not Dead Yet, where you can resurrect yourself, come back into the picture, take yet another fight, do or die. Yes, but you're creating that psychological chaos in the opponent's head, and that's one of the better things to mess around with rather than with your RNG.
And the most important part of the Clove is that even though if you get picked out in the process, even while in dead state, you can still place your smokes, which could be crucial on clutch situations like 1v3s or 1v4s. Being able to block off important lines of sight would open up new avenues of opportunities for the players to give them another chance of those important clutches. But unfortunately right now, we don't get to see Clove, right? Most of the time, yes, initiators and most of the sentinels that we might see could help. Actually, Clove, we haven't seen the agent select yet, right? So hopefully in the agent select, we might see the changes. Yeah,
exactly. It's all speculations.
It's just speculations at this point, folks.
Permutation, combination, and whatever suits the best.
No, not with the max again. God damn it. Just no.
It's all right. By the end of this entire journey, right, I will definitely make you fall in love with mathematics. Don't worry about that. But now let's focus on the bigger picture. The bigger picture being all of the permutation, combination, the agent selections, the metas that we all have been talking about. And yeah, if they bring in Reyna as well, I won't be surprised, because Reyna, surprisingly, in this map has been good as well, depending upon how well you can go ahead and mold and play around her. The Lear, we all have understood one thing, that if you put it in the sky up high, it won't pop off that soon. But if you put it on the ground, it's going to help you out in every single situation. Plus, the opponent's crosshair, it needs to go first to the Lear and then head towards the opponent.
Exactly. So talking about the agents itself, I would say, like, when it comes to an initiator, the main reason why I'd like to use Sky on a map like Split is because there's a lot of tight corridors where you can get quite a lot of informations. And Trailblazers and Guiding Lights are a perfect way to give players the information that they need. But the most important part is, even if they do get information, the only problem is how many of them are present. That would be the biggest question for Sky, because the only voice line that you could expect from Sky is just, yes, that is currently a player from the guiding light that I've been guiding towards one particular spot. So yeah, you have information.
Blinded.
Now, how would you execute it? Would you push in towards, would you push in immediately, hoping that there's just one? Or would you just wait for your teammates to help in with another flash to proceed with those push? It just heavily relies on proper teamwork. But when it comes to the ultimate of Sky, the Seekers, even though you kind of feel like, it's just concussion, it's just near sight, you just get information on players. That information would be crucial, especially on clutch situations that could end up being the most important part, or it could break the entirety of the game. So it's like, it's balanced in a way for Sky that even you can get information, or you can block their line of vision in a way that Sky is really a great initiator when it comes to supporting their team in most of their gunfights.
So the ultimate question that I'm going to ask you, what is the agent selection that you're looking for?
I would say on a map like Split, I would say that since there are many tight corridors, we might see a Brim on control maybe, but obviously you would need a Cypher that could hold out sight.
Exactly.
Sure, KJ could also be a viable pick, but you also need some lines of sight that needs to be covered. So hopefully having Astra's Cosmic Divide could help. And looking at the agent select as of now, we're going to see Sky being played from both the sides. Of course, Sky will be important. Double duelist pick from Asterix. Both the Raze and the Jet will be available, and so is the Omen. The only difference are the controllers here from 120 FPS and Asterix. One of them having the Omen and the other with Astra. So the thing about Astra is that you need to make sure you get the timing right, because if you mess up that timing, it's all gone. Cosmic Divide can help you just end up, squishing out maps all the way into it. It just splits the map into half, basically giving the opportunities to go in for a plant, having an entire barrier that can block off any bullets except some certain trajectories that could pass through. But it's a very powerful ultimate overall.
You're missing the bigger picture, the audio.
Oh yeah, the audio.
It blocks it completely. No matter how big of a earphone you're using, Dolby Atmos and whatnot, you cannot hear it through the entire Cosmic Divide. But talking about the meta, it's a dual initiator versus a dual duelist.
Yeah.
So the entire competition, how is it going to pan out? How is it going to work? Soon we're going to see that as we progress towards the game. But again, now is the time for the teams to breathe. It's for them to understand what needs to be done. How can you successfully evade one another and stop them from going ahead and achieving the big mark, the 13th mark.
Yep, the 13 mark. Even though just by saying that number itself, you feel like it's a little bit easy to do it.
Yeah.
But once you're in the battlefield and once you understood the natures of fear and confusion, next thing you know, you have your teammates yelling, "What are you doing?" There are those certain moments where you feel like, you know what, I think I need to thoroughly understand this map. I need to learn properly. And that's what Valorant thrives. It's not about, losing. It's about failing in certain momentum, understanding why you failed, and then doing better in future matches.
Exactly.
And that's exactly why we love, playing Valorant at the most. But yeah, talking about Asterix was 120 FPS, it's the double duelists versus double initiators. I can clearly understand the mechanic of how it goes, You have the Raze that could have control over the Heaven site, immediate control, while you have the Jet heading in towards the game. But yeah, anyways, let's just stop ranting more about the agents and stuff, and let's just focus on the match, which will happen right about now, folks. Map number 1 Split is unlocked. Match number 2 between Team Asterix versus 120 FPS. The match is on, and so is the pistol rounds.
Oh, the wait hour. It's the rush hour, to be honest. And the adrenaline rush that you get on getting that pistol round, unleashing your potential in the next following one. The follow-up sounds picture perfect, but which team is it gonna be that are gonna take that pistol round on their name? FPS, that is 120 FPS, of course, alongside Asterix. And the pistol rounds unleashed.
Yep, information's already been given once again from the Sky's guiding light. Won't be able to provide information or flash both at the same time, but the concussion from the Astra is just so on point. But unfortunately, no one was there to capitalize it at the moment. You can clearly see a lot of pressure being made towards ramps, and turns out Smoke will find 2, so is Arjun. The amount of gunfights that's happening towards the A side has been very explosive.
It is explosive. It's a 3v3, but where will the spike go? They're still planning for an execution towards the ramps itself. And now if they're heading towards the site, it's all gonna be a lost cause, as Caramel is still holding the entire screen area. Being the Cypher, giving the information, tripwire on point, as it's gonna be a post plant. But what can they do right after that?
Yeah, Force Line's been used. Trailblazers try to provide some info, but Caramel, he gets popped up from Icarus. And now Dozer is the only person from the other side. Meanwhile, we have the Astra just getting important kills, but it's still not enough. Both Arjun and Icarus will make sure to shut down the post-run attempts from the side of FPS and provide them the early economy boost that they need from Asterix.
They went in for the plant. They have the money. This round is going to be overflowing for their corner. 120 FPS, big mistakes all across. And with that, the capitalization is equally good. Caramel, well, He was wandering around thinking that heading towards the site is going to be the best possible decision, but ultimately he lost to Icarus. That fight, if he had won, things would have dwindled right across, but now it's a frag fest. ASTERISK, what are they going to do? Mid control is what they're seizing at this point of time, and they're chasing the opponent downright near. Can he get a frag or two? No, he doesn't. Falls to his death.
Yeah, especially when you're being bombarded with more than 3 to 4 players, it's very difficult to win in most of those gunfights. But Caramel somehow in the middle secures an important headshot with the Sheriff. That too actually all the way from A long, trying to catch off the lurkers from the ASTERISK side. But unfortunately, he's the only player left. Will he be able to salvage some round off? Information not being given yet. Good headshot. Good headshot on the third. Caramel just needs that certain sweet spot to find out the opportunity, and he also has a weapon upgrade of the Vandal. This could be huge, but unfortunately Wave will shut him down. A really great effort on the clutch, but in the end it will be ASTERISK who will win it out 2-0, but good economy value from the side of FPS overall.
120 FPS. It's finally their round. They have the buy as well. My oh my, those Sheriff shots were just singing death all across. Caramel sitting pretty on the top spot with 3 frags on his name. Now is the time where they can change those sides. I want to see how Smoker can go ahead and unleash his potential. He's the solo duelist in that entire lot. I'm expecting something big coming in from his end. Dash coming through all the way. The ropes have been cleared.
Yeah, and that too in just the early rounds of round number 3 itself. You still have the lurker who's currently all the way from A long, so I'm pretty sure that their sight is set towards the A site. All they've got to do is just find the opening, and I believe with the help of the font line they'll be able to concuss and proceed with the execute. But right now the amount of pressure that they're feeling right now is currently all towards the heaven. Flash is being used, it actually helps for Smokey. He finds the kill, back to safety, and with that the controller is down for the count.
Controller gone, out of the picture. ASTERISK, for sure this round is going to be very risky. Early control towards mid did not give them that edge that they needed. And now all of a sudden they're moving in towards side B. A completely fortified. And it is for the likes of Caramel itself who's holding the ground till the very end. Doxer, good for 1, but it's Wave capitalizing. Not allowing that man count disadvantage to go any further. Here's the thing, near inside the site with the Guardian, he needs to be crisp. His aim needs to be on point. If he spots a player or two, it can be dangerous. And Arjun, in the midst of all of that, he's been bitten right off. The second one comes through, and the third one is from the likes of Elite. This round got over way too quick. 120 FPS. What a way to come back.
The read was just so well done though from the Astra. I mean, immediately realizing that, wait a minute, you still have the lurker. The lurker must be all the way from the backside. Immediately reading it like a book. He gets 1, he gets the second. And next thing you know, it was just 120 FPS securing the important win that they need on round number 3. So a job well done for Team ASTERISK. And talk about FPS, they will secure their first round win. I have to say, for the side of ASTERISK, they still have from the shadows, so they'll be able to try to commence with some kind of confusions. But wait a minute, Caramel, so all the way from the A side, he gets 2 out of nowhere, and the neural threat has been, given away. The positions of the characters. My God, 3 kills. Caramel, he is going insane, and so is Dozer from the other side to get the final kill, leading to the only player left at the hands of Icarus to figure out a way to clutch a 1v2 situation.
It's down to a 1v2, but that 1v2 is not going to be seeing any daylight. Smoker, good flank angle, and ultimately, it's the second round coming in. 120 FPS. Well, yes, they did have a slow start, but all thanks to Caramel. Look at him. Right after that, he uses his ultimate as well. Neural theft. Getting the insight of where the opponents can be. And post that, it was all about sheer execution. ASTERISK, 3 major ultimates. Seekers from the shadows alongside neural theft. So now, the ultimate question is, even if the spike falls somewhere else, it's gonna be the Omen who can take it. But Yash, that was a big bold move which fell way too soon.
Yeah, the speed must not stop, and Asterix, they are making sure not to pull off the brakes just yet. Major damage is being made, and Asterix have somehow gained the man-count advantage to a 3v2. Now it's a 2v2 with the lead, getting two back-to-back, and here comes Caramel all the way from the backside, and he secures it. FPS back on track, 3-2, and Asterix, those two important rounds in the first half. Now FPS, they've stolen.
It's fine.
I have to say for FPS, they also have Cosmic Divide, so we'll also take a look at that in the replay itself. The jumping attempt, the satchel from the Rays, unfortunately not quite working out well in their hand, but when it comes to the execute, there are no ways to apply brakes, so you have to move in, you have to commit to it, you have to apply a lot of pressure in a way that they have control towards the A side. Unfortunately, they did make a glorious attempt, but it was denied from FPS nonetheless. So great defensive maneuver coming in from 120 FPS side. Talking about the frags though, Caramel once again, he finds one. Rage on the other hand ends up with a wall bang, and now they're trying to corner the side of Asterix. They've finally got the side. They are heading in for a post-plant situation, and now they've secured it. 4v4 from the shadows still available for Asterix, but the amount of pressure that they've applied is quite too much, and it's going to be even much more difficult knowing that Wave is going to gain control in towards the heaven. But no, Smokey, he's still alive. It's 3v2. The pushes will be made, but will Wave have the proper timing to get the kill? Looks like he does, but the damage is done. It's now a 1v1. It's Wave versus the Rays. Who gets it? Cosmic Divide, explosion! It passed through the projectiles of the explosion from Smokey definitely goes through the Cosmic Divide, and that was an important frag for FPS. 4-2 as FPS gains the lead.
That was an anime battle. And in this anime battle, Smoker, the precision, the timing of the showstopper against the Blade Storm, all of a sudden, things felt like it's gonna head towards the defenders, but no. Oh, sorry. It was looking like it's gonna head towards Asterix, but it did not. Ultimately, they had to fade away. Smoker, beautiful attempt, and yes, he did go ahead and get that round as well. 120 FPS for now. They're sailing high with confidence. And again, the mid control, no matter how hard it is to take it away, snatch it from the hands of Nier, they will still enable themselves to trying on doing that.
Yeah, currently at this situation, you clearly get to see the desperation from Asterix. Once again from mid, now their eyes is currently set towards the B side, and here comes the counter from the side of the Astra. The pulls will be made that will definitely force the players from the side of Asterix to fall back. You also have the explosive ultimate from the Rays that could help them take out one of the most important players in towards the side, and I believe the execute will happen soon enough. Meanwhile, you still have both of the players currently being lured out from the backside, but here we go. The kills will be made. So is the control of the lurk. Caramel is just doing amazing work from that lurk. He finds one. Wave information has been given out. So are the players from FPS who are slowly inching closer towards that exact spot. Now they're caught, now they're cornered. A lead from the backside with a wall bang. He'll be able to secure taking out Yash. Leads to Wave. 20 HP remains. He needs to get a headshot. Unfortunately, he does, but he gets picked up from Elite nonetheless. And just like that, FPS 5-2, their lead continues to grow.
The pacing 120 FPS is at? I don't think so. It's 120 FPS. It needs to be 240. Not gonna lie. Doubling up every single time, every single instance that they're getting. The 1v1 sublime, the control amazing. And from there on, Asterix, they're just flabbergasted. They have never seen such a side of 120 FPS. Previous to this, we were thinking that yes, Asterix, they are the team that who are here, who absolutely showcase their dominating performance. But now I believe it's already changed. It's 120 FPS. Caramel going way too aggressive. He's a bit antsy. There comes the fault line. It's all going to be for the best. But Icarus, look at him playing so smart alongside Wave. Both are playing on perfect trade game. Caramel, if he gets stuck here, it's all going to go for a toss. But he knows when to back off. This is what experience pays off. Elite, he was just lingering that bit longer, knowing that there might be one player peeking right after. Caramel heads back, and that's what happened. 120 FPS, getting the man count advantage now. Near knows that there's a trailblazer right across towards heaven. He exactly understands the situation. Getting one player off in the second one, away from the smoke. What? Okay. No,
No.
that did not happen.
Just somehow Nier just finds a way to not only get away from Trailblazer's location, but also he gets away with 2 kills. And here comes Smokey with the final kill as well. Flawless. Coming in from 120 FPS, 6-2. And I have to say, for Cypher's way, the amount of outplays that I'm witnessing here, Elite using, Cypher as sort of like a bait. He's just here to apply pressure. Next thing he falls back. And then Jet realizing that, maybe I can apply pressure by going a little bit aggressive. Well, guess what? Elite appears out of nowhere. He gets away with a kill and just says, what? You haven't witnessed a different player who just peeked in out of nowhere. And my God, I have to say, FPS, their mind games is just working out perfectly. And it definitely is giving a really good boon to the side of FPS. First half itself, a huge lead, 6-2. And right now, Caramel, he's been doing a lot of heavy work in the first half itself, playing as a Sentinel, being able to get away with kills, jump peaks once again. Not quite sure if it's a good idea for Caramel to engage, but here comes the support from the sky. Trailblazer, some information is being given. Now they know that there are more than 3 players, but amazing shot though from Yash. One shot to the head, one shot to the body to confirm the kill, but here comes Elite once again. He takes out Wave, which means that the control of Heaven is still at the hands of FPS, but when it comes to the man count, it is definitely not favoring for ASTERISK.
Still a 3v3. And in that, Nier just knows what to do exactly. He's blind as a bat, but it's alright. The angle is still contested, taking those shots. But Arjun, well, he knows how to use his shots. He knows how to accurately hit it right on the head. We have seen him do it right in the fish's eye. So head is just another example for us to see. 120 FPS this round, they have been caught off guard. The buys were not looking good at all for the likes of ASTERISK, and with mere pistols, upgraded pistols nonetheless, they're squeezing this round to perfection. Caramel good for one, but the second one will be very tough for him to go ahead and accomplish. And there comes the thrifty for the likes of ASTERISK.
A really great response from ASTERISK. They'll be able to win an important thrifty round. They'll be able to secure not only just the victory of the round, but also some great weapons in which it could prove useful, especially for Wave, since he'll be having the operator in hand. So it is 6-3, and I have to say for FPS, the momentum that they've gained was just really good. The pressure that they were applying, especially on A, was also well done from both Caramel and the other side. But I believe the first kill where I did get to witness was Raze not being able to just secure the headshot, but also securing the kill from a very long range on the Sheriff weapon. That definitely gave them the opening that they need. But now they need to focus on the side. And Yash, once again, important frag to take out Elite as the initiator is down for the count. And right now, the amount of fear that they are feeling right now, knowing that they've lost one of the initiators, is going to be proved much more influential for Team ASTERISK as they're slowly making their way. They are going all the way back towards the B side and hoping to see whether if they can, force one of the defenders to apply more, defense towards the A side. But right now, information has been given. Now Caramel knows that. You also have quite a lot of lineups from the side of Caramel. So yeah.
Love it when you see it. He retrieved the tripwire, took it back and placed it yet again just to create a deviation, and with that, the entire team is just bouncing against the enemy. Caramel good for 3, but it's Icarus who shuts him down. But Caramel has been doing God's work till now. Spike right in front. It's not going to be retrieved as Doxer just mows the opponent down, Icarus. 120 FPS, there was a single break in the middle the previous round, but right after that, look at the bounce back. Caramel, the anchor, has just proven to be lethal when it comes to this time. The information right after the guiding light was just phenomenal.
Yeah, and also let's not forget about Doxer's really great placement of that flash to give Caramel the advantage that he requires. And I have to say, a job well done for FPS to be holding out the site from B, even though that they've lost one of their players. But right now, focusing on this round, once again some aggressive attempts from the side of ASTERISK. But right now it's just there as a scare tactic. But yeah, the control will be present from the side. But Smokey somehow, amidst all of that confusion, he will find out one of the players. Now the second will be up against Doxer. He will fail, but not at the hands of Elite. A quick trade will be given. You still have the neural theft from the Cypher, in which you'll be able to get quite a lot of information from his hand, and Smokey's shot will be very accurate, although the paint bomb didn't quite go exactly where he needed it to be. But in the end, all's well that ends well. But for ASTERISK, Arjun, the lone player currently standing up against three angry players of FPS, it will be a tough situation to go through, because you also have the showstopper from the Raze and also the AWP, which is a one-shot kill. A very difficult position to be in for Arjun, and especially for ASTERISK. They are losing momentum here.
In order to get some money, Arjun needs to go in for the post plan. No matter what happens, he needs to head for the post plan. But before he could even set foot inside the site, it's Caramel. Yet again, in every nook and cranny, it's this man bouncing against the enemies. ASTERISK is having a tough time in this map. And Caramel, well, he's just making things possible. This man is a chill dude right now.
Not only just that, he also just ended up not only giving kills, but his neural theft is still active. He'll be able to use it for extreme important rounds. But I believe this will be the last round before role swap in the first half, so most of the ults will be used. So Seekers for info, neural theft for info, and of course the showstopper, which could be the make it or break it moment. Wait a minute, Nier is thinking of pushing through the smoke, although the lines of sight has been blocked in towards mid as well. So Astra's smoke would definitely help in making sure that none of them would pass through. But they're currently taking things as calm as possible. They don't want to, give away their positionings just yet. They're waiting for the attackers to make their move. Then and only then will they be able to go in for a counter pick.
This is the final round for the first half. In order to accomplish a successful round and make it a 9-3 for the likes of 120 FPS, they need to take things very slow. Caramel, he was waiting for at least one pick at the bare minimum and then use his neural theft, but ultimately he did not get that opportunity at all. Now, when the rafters is all wide open, there's one thing which is doing yet another CCTV work. That's going to be the cams, the spy cam for the likes of Caramel itself.
30 seconds left.
Information, 1 point. Smoker knows that the players are available towards Haven itself. There comes the ultimate. The showstopper stops at least one man, that is Rage. And the second one was possible, but it's Arjun that you're messing against with. And he's not going to let the entire thing just fall right across. But ultimately, it's the entire team's decision to pick a player one by one. And there comes the team ace in the previous round. 9-3, ladies and gentlemen, where 120 FPS is running around and they're getting whatever they can in the rounds.
Yeah, it was a really slow and methodical way for FPS to wait for the right moment, and then once they get the timing right, they did eventually get to pick off players one by one. Always knowing information is basically winning half the battle, and 120 FPS definitely did prove that statement. That is for sure, folks. But yeah, with the role swap being in play, second half, anything could happen. Maybe ASTERISK could even make a comeback of their own, where it could be a possibility. Knowing that you have a double duelist comp from the side of ASTERISK, it will be difficult to hold the site, but you still have the important Cypher, which could help. Well, never mind. Wave just comes in while Caramel was too busy trying to check out the cams, in a way that he did get caught off in the process. And because of that, losing a Sentinel means that the chances of flanks will be at an all-time high. And the attackers really need to be careful, especially when they're executing the site. Wait a minute, Smoke A and Yash, both of them very close for comfort. Meanwhile, Wave gets the second kill, and this time it's the controller being down for the count, and Smoke A perfectly waiting. But wait a minute, Yash gets a headshot out of nowhere with the Sheriff. Oh boy, this is not looking good for FPS.
Everything has slowed down. channeling down the Chi Elite. He is trying his level best. Good flash. He needs to take the corner, but it's Wave making waves, getting the fourth as well, and a flawless round to again bring things back into the picture. Asterix, it's still not gone. Winning the pistol will enable them for the next following round as well. But all they have to do is play it calculatively, and that's what they're doing, bringing in the Outlaw. One shot to the body, no matter what the opponents are wearing, if it is a half shield or a regen shield, poof, gone will be that man.
Here.
And I believe 120 FPS this following round, they're going to play it very safe. They're going to fully stack towards the site. It's going to help out for the best, and that's what we were about to say, but it's Smoker biting the dust right off the bat.
Yeah, the fault line was on point though. Studying the important players that they need to ensure that that huge, aggressive execute wouldn't happen. Meanwhile, as you take a look at Caramel's perspective, he unfortunately loses to his arch nemesis Icarus. So the entire control of Lurk has been controlled out. They even have the whole information towards A, and with the Trailblazers, Arjun also confirms his suspicions that the rest of the players are also making their way towards the other side. Stingers, 360, and just like that, the Stingers claiming the important kill that they need and give a flawless round win at the hands of Team Asterix, 9-5. As 120 FPS, first half of performance was really looking good, but now in the second half, things started to have a bit of a turnaround with Wave making his appearance in the second half. And also he has an op too, so oh boy, dangers are increasing at an all-time high. So if they lose, maybe FPS might head in for a timeout. Maybe it could be a possibility.
Right there.
He shouldn't have gone in for all of those big buys. Not gonna lie, the opponents are still rocking that half shield and regen shields. And one shot from the Outlaw would have brought in all of that perfect perspective. But it's okay. The credits being spent all across, but mid is one of the places which has caught our attention. Caramel, early frag onto Yash, that's a big blunder. And from here on, things can fall right off the bat. Arjun is still there inside the site, acting as a perfect anchor, but for how long? It's Icarus who's constantly keeping things under tab. And all of a sudden, it's a 2v2. Caramel, still the angles on point. He's holding the heaven area like a boss. And here, all he has to do is point, aim, and shoot, and he gets the third one as well. The entire site is up for open. Icarus, what can he do last time? What can he do this time? Last time, he did have a really good battle against Caramel, and he won that. But now, when the weaponry is strong for the likes of Caramel, he did not even look at that corner.
Yeah, for a brief moment, I actually thought that I thought that Icarus might have picked out Astra, but I believe this is Astra's fourth kill on that previous matchup. Really well played. The patience was looking really good. And all in all, the best part about it is that Astra now has the Cosmic Divide, which makes it easier to execute the side, be able to block off the heaven side, which is very important for the players to execute, knowing that most of the high grounds will be taken care of thanks to that Cosmic Divide. But yeah, all in all, you still need to be worried about the ops from Icarus, in which it will be a pain for them. But right now it's just info games followed up with converting those into an early picks that could help them in proceeding forward in towards the mid rounds.
Now was the time where Smoker should have deployed his boombot. But unfortunately, because of some mistake, he did pop it right off the bat, and he has a Bucky nonetheless to go ahead and make this round his. Couple of players, way too aggressive. Oh, it's a Judge. Judge versus Judge. Rage versus Smoker. Who's it gonna be? Who will win? At one point, there is the paranoia that can change things right off the bat, and Rage is just waiting for that right opportunity. The entire stack with the Cosmic Divide completely baffling Rage onto what needs to be done. He can deploy the smoke, but it's way too late. Smoker gets the first one onto Yash, and he's enabling the entire site, changing the weaponry right in front of Arjun, and it's Caramel. The mid-ender always works out. 3 frags on his name with the last man standing. No matter wherever you run, you cannot hide, Wave.
Really well-timed execute though from 120 FPS. I mean, you can clearly see the amount of patience that they had to go through, right? Once it reached all the way up to 40 seconds, the Cosmic Divide was active. You even see a fault line to flush out the Omen who had a judge in hand. So they thought everything about it. And once they have control over it, and once Caramel came by, pushing in at the right time towards mid, catching out players one by one, thanks to those Cosmic Divide blocking out so much lines of sight, it made it easier for Caramel to get those kills and also put themselves in a huge lead on 11-5. Neural Theft is also active, so if Caramel gets one kill, that is even more precious, knowing that he'll be able to not only get kills, but also he'll be able to get the information on the rest of the 4 players that could cause major havoc to the side of Team ASTERISK.
Caramel, it again. All the weight on his shoulders, and that's a perfect aftershock. But afterlife is what Caramel could see. ASTERISK, all of a sudden, they're crumbling down. It's like they've been eaten by the Cookie Monster. As 120 FPS, they're marching inside this side. Arjun! The guiding light was in his hand, but unfortunately not his luck. Could not do much. The 12th on board, 120 FPS. They are charging forward every single opportunity that they can get. And this is just the beginning. The first game itself in the map of Split, things have not been a fair share.
Match point is in for 120 FPS, and I have to say, for the side of Team ASTERISK, I'm pretty sure that they did not expect to see this coming. Especially the way how Caramel has been picking out one by one. And right now, the round is near. Rage once again with a judge in hand. Unfortunately, it didn't quite work, especially with a really beautifully placed fault line at the A execute. Right now, he's just going to fall back for now. Trailblazers will detect Omen's position, but he will stick to it. Astra smoke will pop out, which means that Rage will be playing around that smoke, which would force the side of 120 FPS to back off, making sure that the attempt of this push is not worth it and find a different method to go in for this execute.
This is a revamped version of 120 FPS. It's not the same that we saw in Season 6. Season 7 definitely has showcased a lot of things.
What?
Near someone check in PC through the smoke. This man lands a headshot, and that's just the experience talking. Smoke on the other end, unleashing himself. But it's Icarus who's maintaining every single decorum at this point of time. He's keeping the entire site fortified near the pillar areas. But for how long? As a neural theft has already been unleashed on the opponents. The spike is under control. Wave holding the pocket angle. All he needs to do is stall for longer. That's pretty much it. And he can potentially win this round, but it's near. Going ahead, capitalizing alongside those 1v1s. Did not work out as the entire team have crumbled down yet again. 13 rounds is what this team has already accomplished. We all told that, right? I mean, whoever starts from zero, they eventually become hero. But I was expecting something big from the likes of ASTERISK, the ex-champions of Season 6. All this time, they did prove one thing, that is that they are lethal when it comes to this game. But no, they could not showcase it against such a revamped team.
Yep. 120 FPS, I have to say, a job well done though, especially from Caramel's performance, and also the way how they've held their ground, knowing exactly what kind of positions that they were in. And I have to say, the Cosmic Divide followed up with the fault lines. The fault lines were on point. The initiators have done their homework. The initiators knew exactly at what kind of positions does he need to use the fault line. The flashes were on point as well. So if I really have to give kudos, I have to give kudos to the initiators, who's not only supporting for most of the duelists and the sentinels to secure those kills, but also he made sure that he'll be able to hold their ground and ensure that the victory would be theirs. And they evidently did so on map number 1. So Split, it is theirs, but I believe on map number 2, Bind, we might see a different case scenario. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe ASTERISK is waiting for that opportunity to happen. But yeah, first map, what a way to end things off, folks.
Well, true, but let's just relive all the moments, right? Thanks to Crucial Moments, we can do all of that. Let's just go right in. And here's the thing, right? everything was going really good. I could see those rounds where ASTERISK is trying to cope up with what is happening to them. And then eventually things did not favor them at all. They could get a couple of rounds right off the bat in the second half of the pistol round. But later on, it was all of those individual gameplays which was coming in again and again. Why would you leave your mid wide open when you know the execution is heading all the way towards side B? And that's right, I'm talking about Caramel. He was always on the lurk game and he got that value. No matter what his stance was, no matter what his position was, he was bringing in that A trifecta. And yes, when you talk about Breach, that's the reason Breach has been chosen in this map. They were doing their job diligently and I'd love to see it.
Yeah. Now, I also have to talk about, Astra's performance as well, especially on the final round. The smokes were present, the Seekers were giving out to try to give away information of Astra and the Jet. But somehow, Astra manages to get that kill off from Omen, especially this round. Yeah, exactly. This, like you said, it's always about experience and knowing at what positions where most of the players would be, knowing that the Omen would play around the smokes, he might be out in the open, he might have a weapon that is very too close for comfort with a weapon like Judge or Bucky. It always comes down to experience, and I have to say for the Astra, man oh man, that the amount of prediction though is just it's off the charts.
13-5, ladies and gentlemen. That's what we could see. 13-5. And these kind of gameplays, I was expecting that ASTERISK can do better, but eventually they just fell right off. It was like Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Exactly, and Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. That's what ASTERISK had right now, and they're patching themselves up for the next following game. And I'm hoping if you guys are listening to us, you can go ahead and understand what mistakes you're creating, because there was clearly a lot of chaos with the entire gameplay, the notion itself. Wherever I was seeing Yash pop off his ult, he was trying to squeeze the maximum value, and in one round he did manage to do that. But ultimately, later on, it was all about, those allies falling down, his teammates crumbling, not even understanding what's happening thanks to Caramel's lurks. So those kind of gameplays were continuously coming into the picture, and because of that, they could not figure out what needs to be done. Their backs were wide open, they were being completely annihilated, and yes, that needs to stop. Next map is going to be very vital.
Yeah, next map, which will be Bind. So we'll be taking a short little break, and we'll be right back with match number 2 as best as possible, folks. Until then, stay tuned.
Well, yes, welcome back. It's going to be the game number 2, which we are currently looking at. The first map done right, dusted, but the second one equally interesting. Hoping that there's going to be a comeback coming from ASTERISK.
Yeah, Asterix, absolutely. The first map on Split was definitely not what we'd expected, but hopefully on map number 2, which will be on Bind, maybe Asterix might have found the answers that they're looking for, especially with the way how 120 FPS were making their presence known with the utmost amount of aggressive performance as well as defensive performance as we've ever seen.
Well, true, the aggression was out there. Caramel, the lurks was on point alongside the entire support. Since the very beginning, the initiators just going ahead and making things possible. The breach, for example. And yes, all of these things tallied on the scoreboard. Let's just have a look and see how it entirely pans out to be. Caramel, for sure, he's going to be getting the MVP for this map because of his individual gameplay itself and mid endeavors. But on the other end, it was Wave, who was constantly keeping things under check. But I don't think so he was doing it that frequently.
Yeah, of course, but especially when you have the constant lurk from Caramel, where he was just like annoying most of the Sentinel every single time. So every time when they head in for an execute, they always have that fear knowing that, you know what, there is a lurker, we need to be careful. So either we head in towards the side as quick as possible, or we basically die trying. But all in all, I have to say, Wave definitely made his presence known. The total of 14 kills. The same thing can also be said for Icarus as well, where there were some clutch moments where they almost did get to, end up winning it. But unfortunately, at the end result, it was 13-5 nonetheless. 13 favoring for 120 FPS. They have secured match point, and now they are here to end things off on a 2-0, unless and until Asterix has something else to say on map number 2.
Hoping that they have something to say, else this BO3 is going to be lopsided. It's going to be completely favoring towards 120 FPS. But talking about the MVP of the first map, it's for sure going to be Caramel, thanks to his individual gameplay. I mean, kudos to the entire team, but yes, he has literally had that spotlight right on him whenever he was heading towards the mid places, getting those early frags alongside in the late round control as well. Caramel is a guy that I need in my team whenever you need things to be accomplished.
Yeah, 4 first kill, and let's not forget, as a Sentinel,
Yeah.
not as a duelist. So you
Exactly.
can clearly see that every time when Caramel goes in for those risky peaks that he goes in, not only does he get to take away the Sentinel, he gets away to safety, early peak advantage. Next thing you know, 120 FPS has all the time they need and just casually wait in sight for the utmost, for the endless demise that was about to happen in the site, right? So all in all, for Asterix, since they had a lot of disadvantages in those current situations, hopefully it won't be the same on map number 2 Bind, because on Bind there's a lot of opportunities where even though that you're stuck in a particular situation, there's always a way to come back around. So I have to say, map number 2 Bind, yeah, the first match that we didn't get to quite see Bind properly, but yeah, what do you think about map number 2 Bind, especially with the teams that you're going up against?
There's one thing I would like to say. Icarus, he has been playing way too passive. If he activates himself, the aim duels that he was winning against Caramel nonetheless, that showcases that man has a lot of individual prowess. But it's just that he was not able to explosively open himself. And that's one of the opportunities that I want the entire team to give Icarus. We all know whenever it comes to delivering, he delivers. He plays the role of Sentinel, but he plays it to perfection. But I don't know what happened in the map of Split. It has been one of the favorite maps of Asterix, but ultimately they're falling prey to all of these shenanigans coming in from 120 FPS when it comes to those endeavors towards mid and the control, and every single sort of the action was being unfolded, but it's just that there was no response. And I'm hoping, like the question that you asked in Bind, what do I think? I think that finally it's going to be Asterix opening themselves up, saying that it's all right, first game done and dusted, it's okay, let's put our heads in the second map. Let's understand whatever mistakes you made in the previous one, let's fix it and then just move in with a positive mindset.
Yeah, talking about the agents though on map Bind, I would definitely say, especially on the duelist side, you would really need a race, because the amount of maneuverability that you can head around towards the side is just quick. It's just at your fingertips itself. It is so powerful, especially when you have those power of 2 satchel charges that can immediately engage in towards the side. That is a powerful tool to have, and especially when a map like Bind, when you have a lot of close corridors, especially on a place like Lamps, where you can easily enter into the side without being in caught of the line of sight, is a definitely a must-have duelist to go for. But you still have the other agents too. You still have the Cypher on the Sentinel, and you have the Brimstone on as the controller. Even though controller Brimstone could definitely help on a map like Bind, there are some certain changes where we do get to see, right? We can see a Viper change, or maybe a Viper Omen mixture, where one of them could lurk while the other could just stay inside. Basically, double controllers, meaning that partially they play as the role of a sentinel, right? They watch their flanks, or maybe they have the opportunity to move towards the flanks. So information is present, so is the denial from both those controllers.
Cypher is a good pick. Altogether, hands down, Cypher is a really good pick. But when it comes to those duelists, right, I have for sure been a big Neon fan whenever it comes to the lamp controls. All you have to do is run forward, charge your way through, pace it, and reach towards the XYZ location by having Bucky or Judge in your hand. So these two things alongside even Shorty. How can I forget that? Shorty has, even though been facing a lot of brunt of being nerfed, but close range, any shotgun will do the work. So Neon can be a really good addition, but right after the nerf, there has been like some ick which every single player is currently having, that no, I don't want to actually pick that agent because we have something better. We have Jet, of course. You can dash your way through, you can head towards any of the heighted platform, but Raze in close quarter is good example alongside Arena as well. So these are the two duelists that I would really want to see the players go ahead and opt for. Yoru can also be into the picture. Yoru, hands down, we could see it in the map of Haven, but if we see it in the map of Bind, I'll be more than happy, because that shows that the team is ready to welcome any kind of change in the meta. And especially when you make your own meta, right, you get more confident around it because it's yours. Nothing can go wrong. Even if something goes wrong, it's all right. Fix it for the next time.
Yeah, and when it comes to the patch notes are always the way where when it comes to certain metas, it comes to an overhaul changes, right?
Okay.
Especially back then when Chamber used to be so overpowered, they would rather have a Chamber as a duelist rather than have a Sentinel, right? Now it's been changed. Now we don't get to see a lot of Chambers being in play, especially in this matchup, right?
He's still a pseudo duelist.
Yeah, he is a pseudo duelist, but we don't get to see him play a lot more often, right? So you would rather prefer to have a duelist that has more, which has more agile abilities, the more abilities that you could dash towards one position to other position, where you can bypass those lines of sights, right? That's exactly what you want. You don't want to be in that line of sight. You want to be in the sight. You want to be a nuisance towards them, and every time when you're in the sight, that creates much more opportunities as a distraction and also follow up to the other players, where they can just casually head in towards the side and provide the proper execute that they need. So that's why when you have smokes and flashes, those are just there to provide support for the duelist. But when you add agility to the mix, that's where most of the fun part arrives, because you don't need smokes, you don't need flashes. All you need is just one proper position, one single minute weak point where that line of sight doesn't coexist, and that spot would be more than enough to be safe and also create a lot of distractions where most of this line of sight could converge in those one location. So maneuverability is also important, but it also could create a nuisance if you try to apply pressure over and over again, right? Because once you get a hold of it, there's a thing called as ego, right? Where there's a thing called as ego peaking. So if you peak more and more often, that's where most of the duelists makes their mistakes. So they need to make sure that they keep themselves in check, know at what time that they need to be aggressive, know at what time that they need to be defensive, and always make sure to play accordingly with the team.
Well, I'm hoping that all of these things are going to be kept in tab from all of the players, and expectations versus reality. Let's see what will happen in game that is going to be in the map of Bind itself. Well, previous to this, we could not see that much action. That's one thing that teams made for sure. But now, when it's already there in the top 2 itself, I'm hoping for some really good cutthroat action coming in. Before this, there was one of the golden moments, the golden era of Bind always being banned, because not many teams are ready for the teleportation, because at the very moment when you're thinking that the players are going to go ahead for the execution towards side B, there comes a switcheroo, there goes the entire team taking the teleportation, heading towards side A, and all of a sudden The players, the defenders who are sitting towards B, they're like, wait, we were just sitting ducks? We were just here to witness the entire portal go like vroom, vroom, vroom? No, we're not here for that. And the rotation, even though it's quick, I get it. But at the end, the post plant is still there. It's done.
Yeah.
Now you have to take control of the entire site. All of a sudden, the defenders have become the attackers, even though they take 7 seconds to go ahead and defuse that spike.
Yeah. So right now, let's not waste any time at all, folks. Let's just jump in directly to the agent select, see what kind of agents they're going in for the picks between Team 120 FPS versus ASTERISK. And just like I expected, Brimstone to be the controller, followed up with Viper. I mean, you have Brimstone from both the sides. I believe the only difference is the initiators, though. From 120 FPS, you have the Sky, whereas on ASTERISK, you have Fade and Gecko as the initiators.
Gecko, yet again, good pick. I'm very happy to see Gecko coming back into the picture, because most of the times people sideline Gecko thinking that, you know, no matter how many ever times you get the dizzy, it's pointless. No, it's not. It's always a deviation that you can create. The Thrash in a 1v1 situation is monstrous, and the entire situation goes from easy to diabolical in just a second or two. So yeah, I'm pretty happy to look at the dual initiator, but 120 FPS, they're in for a treat. The Viper and Brimstone always has been that combination which is impeccable. Nobody can break through that defensive line, as 3 Sky Smokes are there for the likes of Brimstone. But ultimately, if he places one towards the right corner itself onto the box, that will block the entire vision of the sniper's nest. So that's one of the places where I would really love to see how teams are economically using the smokes, because that's very vital. There is no regen of the smokes. You have to buy it in the next following round.
Yeah, well, let's just see if most of our prediction comes out right, because we are not wasting any time, folks. Match number 2 is live. Bind is unlocked, so are the teams prepped and ready to, you know, showcase their set of skills. It will be up against Team ASTERISK versus 120 FPS. 120 FPS have secured their first map. They are here to end things off, winning map number 2 Bind. Or will we get to witness Team ASTERISK bring their comeback in map number 2 and put us all the way to deciders?
I'm hoping that we head towards the third map. But as the pistol commences, we're going to understand which team will showcase their early domination coming forth in the map of Bind. For now, slow approaches all across. But Near, he needs to run away, evacuate himself. As a paint shell, it's completely monstrous. Knows that one player has already crossed through. There's a smoke coming in as well. The tally is just near to perfection. 120 FPS. Near just making his way through, and he wins the battle as well. Yush! That's a big blunder. And from here on, Wave, he's just constantly running back for what? His death? Oh my god. Early 2 picks and ASTERISK, they're on a big risk to lose this pistol round.
So near, yet so close. 2 kills back to back as the controller delivered its mark. And I have to say, for the side of Team FPS, they've been dealing quite a lot of major damage, though. A lot of smokes have been placed from their end as well. Showers control, Icarus, he's got it under control. He also got weapon upgrades. Be able to upgrade it from Ghost to Sheriff. And now we will see a change of sight and execute from B. They will proceed with post plant, but do they have information on Arjun? Yes, they do. It's Near once again. 3 kills back to back. And now River, who is very low on HP, and the Brimstone, who are currently slowly making their way into his hookah, needs to figure out a way to secure a 2v3 difficult pistol round post plant situation.
Especially when you see the HP being so low on one of the players. Just feels impossible for them to go ahead and clutch it out. Pentagon, one of the places where the opponents are going to be, and the backstab coming in from Near as well, making it nearly impossible for ASTERISK to go ahead and get that first round. 120 FPS already onto a really good start. They have the bonuses. They're going to pour all that money on those weapons. Vandals alongside half shields for the likes of Smoker, but I feel a judge would have done more justice to whatever we're going to witness next.
Yep, round 2, 120 FPS, they will unlock their first round. They will have it in their pockets, and what's more important is that enough amount of weaponry to provide even much more pressure from the side of Team ASTERISK. Right now, All I have to think about is that from the side of ASTERISK, they are currently making their presence known from B long, but unfortunately they did try to go in. They did take a risk, hoping that they might make their presence known in towards the fountain. But turns out the kind of prediction didn't quite work out. 120 FPS, knowing exactly where the situation is, and also I forgot that there is also a teleport coming in from the other side. Doxer and the paint bombs from the Rays will make sure to deny it as best as possible, and with that, they will head in for post plant.
Well, yet again, the post plant is right on them. ASTERISK. Doxer.
Okay.
Currently knowing that River is right inside, and he gets the perfect shots. There's still potential for lurks, but all of those lurk gameplays are not going to work out here. Icarus, as he also falls down prey in the hands of 120 FPS Doxer. One by one, they are picking each and every player from the opponent. But now is the time for AST to go ahead and buy their own weapons. I'm hoping that they can make it count for this following one.
Yeah. Still have the double initiators, so my proper guess is that applying pressure would be the best bet. But how would you deal with the bombardments of lines of sight being blocked out all the way from A? So the only thing is just go ahead and forward. Yash, immediately understanding that engaging in that fight would not be a good idea, chose to fall back. And at least knowing with that information, they get to go towards a different location. But I'm pretty sure that they are aware of the Viper lurk that is happening all the way from A long. Gecko has been patiently waiting for that right moment, for that right opportunity, because once he gets it, he'll be able to immediately teleport back, provide support for the team from A side, and next thing you know, it will be good for ASTERISK, unless and until FPS has something else to say.
Well, here's the thing. The Viper is still lurking towards fountain area itself, waiting for the perfect amount of lurk plays. If someone moves forward, it could have been very deadly. But looks like the entire situation is under control from the likes of AST. They have kept A under check, and all of a sudden, this entire team is planning towards side B, where Cypher is already waiting for this play to commence.
It's all up to Arjun to make sure that he would stall some time and give some opportunities to provide ASTERISK the win that they need. They desperately need it, but no! Karamal just annihilates it immediately. That is more than enough. That's the opening that they need to get control on the side. Post plant would also be present, and also the man count is equalized 3-3 with just 15 seconds left. They'll be able to secure the plant, and also let's not forget Yash is still alive. It's still 0-2 with a wall bang, but what are the chances though if FPS would win?
Oh, the chances are looking very slim. 120 FPS, last man standing, knows the entire area is going to be sealed right in with the paint shell. And Yash, he gets the third alongside the defuse as well. The wingman, well, yeah, you can go ahead and hoot for him. AST finally getting their first round, and the buy round is one of the places that they have capitalized. Now, 120 FPS, they can force in. They can force in for this particular round, but if they save it for the next one, it's gonna be that much better. But they have the money to do it, so might as well do that.
Yeah. Icarus still have, Icarus could maybe try to get some ultimate orbs so that he'll be able to, use his orbital command to try to, I would say get some kills around from the lands maybe, but yeah, all in all, currently we just see a steady slow pace. Once again, a similar spread push like the previous one. The entire hallways towards A has been blocked off, smoked in a way that you will never see any single player to push in towards that specific spot. So either you provide pressure in towards lamp, or else wait for them to push for the proper opportunity. But here comes Doxer, takes out wave, and just like that, the opening for 2 kills for Doxer is more than enough for FPS to push.
Oh, indeed, indeed. Getting the entire crowd control done by Dustin. Yash good for 1, but I believe he's still tweaking. He needs to understand the gravity. The elbow is not going to be that clean this time. Near, he was right around the corner, and look at Doxer getting the third one as well, being the controller. He's just commanding the entire team to head towards the site. And the last man standing, what can he do? River, for sure, can get the first one. For how long can he keep up with the same pace? There are 3 more players who need to be aligned on his crosshair. Saving is the best option that he can choose. As AST, yet again, they're facing that economical crunch. It feels like AST is from a third world country.
Yeah, well, nonetheless, for River, there's no other choice but to save his weapon, right? Especially once the smoke entered in towards Hookah, he had no other choice but to fall back. He definitely needed the weapon to ensure that he'll be able to fight this round. Hopefully, give them some fighting chance to win an important thrifty round. So timeout will be given for AST. So they're gonna make sure that whatever mistakes that they've made, they'll be able to fix up those mistakes. Try to reset their minds, making sure that most of the stress and all the pressure will be relieved in some certain minutes. And hopefully, once that comes to an end, we'll be able to resume back as soon as possible. But yeah, currently, if you take a look at the ults that are currently present from the side of ASTERISK, you have the orbital strike from the Brimstone. You even have the showstopper from the Raze. So there is some great defensive maneuvers that ASTERISK could try to held out the aggressiveness that they're providing right from the other side. But for FPS, the way how you get to see those walls and the smokes being placed, you can clearly see that for the player, you have no other choice but to either play in lamps or play behind the lamps to ensure that none of those sneaky plays would be in play for them. So for 120 FPS, they have the advantage as of now. They have the lead. It is 3-1. But for ASTERISK, it will be a difficult situation for them because they have limited weaponry, which makes it much more tougher for them to win this round.
The initiators are not functioning as the entire team was thinking it needs to function. AST is fumbling big time when it comes to those initiators.
Right here.
I'm hoping that they can go ahead and fix all of those errors. This round is all about those sheriff shots. If they land it, well and good, and an hero vandal as well, which is in the hands of River. We have seen multiple clutches coming in from his hand, but ultimately, this is that round that he needs to go ahead and showcase why the entire team entrusts on River.
Here we go, the placements are in. They're waiting for the right moment. Information from ASTERISK. I believe Waves is, flashes will ensure to provide them with good information as possible. And also, let's not forget, Gecko's cooldown is also, reduced in a way that he would be able to use the ability once more. The time's ticking, only 40 seconds. They have to push, and turns out FPS, they'll be making their move towards the B side.
Well, definitely. Asset Require has already been activated. It is going to be Arjun who knows that the entire chaos is there towards side B itself. Gets the first one. The pick was sublime. And the Tripwire, even though it was down on the ground, they could have that control. Dox is just waiting for his orbital strike to be popped right off. But it's the post-plant scenario which we all can witness. The retake needs to be sublime. It needs to be picture perfect.
Oh, I think I know where exactly the orbital is going. Could be from B long. This could be the important moment to go in for the push. Here comes the orbital strike. So is the showstopper. But turns out there is a slight turnaround. Smoke A. He is still here on the side. His showstopper. Will it catches? Yes, he does. Smoke A out of nowhere comes in. Doxer for the rescue. 1-4 FPS. What a way to recover. Even with two of the important ults that was used from ASTERISK, it still wasn't enough.
ASTERISK. Well, that was a lot of risk in the previous round. But ultimately, it's the weaponry that we could see. Even though the brain game was on point, Arjun especially, kudos to him. The first pick was sublime, but corners, that's one of the things that teams forget to check. Smoker, this man has been on the throats of the enemies every single time he could get the opportunity. Now, as the players are blind as a bat, they could not capitalize. One by one, they are crumbling down. Doxer gets two out of nowhere. Even though he was so low on HP Caramel, he's also facing the same wrath. But can ASTERISK finally get the round that they deserve?
And here is also present though. Yeah, it's all the way from the spawn as well too, giving the opportunity that they need. Now he's just going to reposition back all the way towards Lamp. Let's not forget Spike's been dropped all the way from Shower, so Gecko will be guarding it with his life. He also has Thrash available and ready. So once
The wrong side.
once they make their move, the Thrash would also be available to try to disorient them and basically like restrict them for using those certain abilities. But for now, he's just not going to use it. 45 seconds. Here comes the Viper Pit. Exclusive ult coming in from their end.
Oh no, look at the bait and switch, but this time the bait and switch does not work in. Caramel, he knew that the opponent is going to have a follow-up as Thrash was already activated on one of the arch nemesis. But well, it is what it is. And AST finally getting the second on board. 120 FPS, big fumbles in the previous round, but this round, how well can they dominate? They have a couple of ultimates, one being Neural Theft, very vital, so crucial, and the other one for the crowd control. Orbital Strike.
Only a Nightfall available for Asterix as well, so we're gonna make sure that they would use it as best as possible. Right now, talking about FPS's perspective, they were this close of securing that round, and all Asterix had to do was just deny it, giving them the advantage that they need. Thinking about this round though, River very close in towards the lamp. Important pick, that's Caramel gone, but Smoke is still alive and kicking. He takes out Arjun too. Both of the Sentinels down for the count, and here comes the orbital strike from the Doxer. Wall bang headshot to take out River, and just like that, Plant is in, so is FPS's will to win this round.
That was a good molly, Chris. But unfortunately, it's already a post-1 scenario coming through. Spams coming in with the Guardian. None of them align, but Yash, he finally manages to shut down Doxer. He has been a menace to the society and he had to be shut down. If Near times it right, things are always gonna dwindle right back into the corners of 120 FPS. He needs to hit all of his shots, but same goes for Smoker as well. But Smoker whiffs, and there goes the third round. Asterix, they're pulling off stunts. It's a daylight robbery, and I'm loving the enthusiasm coming in from this entire team.
Such close interactions, and yet Asterix will get away with yet another post-round victory. An important one. And also, let's not forget, Wave's performance here, especially in the previous one, was just so well done. Immediately reading out exactly that there is one all the way from the backside and just clicks it on the head just like that. And also, we also have a simple fact as well. A key player, Icarus, for Aztec. But yeah, I sort of missed it out. But let's just focus on the round as of now. Satchel charges from Smoke A, followed up with Bucky. Very close. He still needs to be in close encounters in order to secure most of those important kills. But yeah, all in all, the off from Yash, that will secure the kill.
Oh, that was a good one. The pain shells were on point from the likes of Smoker. And now, the control time. Icarus, get right in the corner. Knows that the opponent are gonna somehow lurk in, head towards Cubby. And that's where Icarus chooses to punish them. Couple of players remaining as 120 FPS. Their economical crunch is for sure taking them off the picture. There's not even a single weapon being dropped. And that'll be a big mistake moving forward in the next following round. Yash, if he still stays alive, yeah, you can still see the operator thanks to his teammates. They're gonna pick the weapon up. But if it drops, if big weapons drop, then it's all gonna be good. Smoker, good for one. And the regen shield, it's coming back in, 25 HP.
30 seconds left.
Or we can look at the shields, shots fired, and it's on point. Smoker, he knows there are gonna be more players lurking around in that corner. But it's Icarus who finally manages to shut him down. But a couple of weapons have been dropped. And that's a decent round for the likes of 120 FPS.
And with that, the score is equalized, 4-4. Great way to start things off from Yash. And also Icarus, all the way from Lamps. Deep, and also a great kill coming in from the side of Asterix. FPS, on the other hand, they are facing a major deficit at the moment, even though they did secure a win after a timer that's been used from the side of Asterix. FPS winning that match. FPS winning that round. But then afterwards, at the next, eventually we did get to see Asterix immediately coming back, recovering back the rounds, and now they're looking even much more confident than ever. They even have the showstopper, they even have the neural theft. All it needs is just one single kill from Yash's op to give them the early kill they need but looks like there are some changes. I believe Caramel is currently focusing all on his way towards hookah, and he'll be met with 2 players. But wait a minute, Smoke gets 2, Icarus gets the other to shut him down. But that damage, that's actually huge for FPS.
Indeed. There comes the Molly, but Elite, he was waiting for the swing to come through, and alongside that, the Seekers have been deployed as well, giving away the location of Arjun. And he did not shoot the second Seeker. He's like, it's all right, I do not want to even shoot it. Arjun stuck in such a pickled up situation where he cannot walk any further as the floor is lava.
And although for the opshots though from near,
One
we're missing
enemy
some certain
remaining.
stuff, but in the end, Elite will get it. It's all up to the Cypher from Asterix, and he'll get picked out from none other than Doxer. 5-4, FPS holds on their lead, but would it be more than enough for Asterix to come back? Now that would be the biggest question. Talking about this match, talking about this round itself, we still haven't seen the showstopper being utilized from Asterix's end. So currently they are currently waiting for that right moment to get that pick. But yeah, a lot of pressure was being used at the side of hookah. So basically they had much more focus towards that spot. But then we did get to see those 2 kills being made from the Raze, and that impact would have been more than enough for FPS to go for the execute they need.
Wow. Lovely. It's actually turning into a second anime battle. Smoker, yes, he's going to be chasing the opponent dead right center. He knows that he needs to land this one, and he does that as well. Smothering the opponent. And now heading towards the site. It's all clear with the boom bar out, and that's going to provide a lot of information for the people who are in the back. And Caramel finally, the second kill pulls through. Doxer, he's constantly keeping things under check. This man does not allow any kind of notion or commotion right in front of him. Caramel with the third, and there comes a 6th for the likes of 120 FPS. And yeah, I thought that Asterix is gonna go ahead and do something devious in this following round, but it did not happen. I could see the showstopper, but ultimately that showstopper could not do much.
Yeah, and let's not forget, remember, yeah, that's exactly because Doxer was present right there, right? Once we heard fire in the boom, he's gone. And not only just that, he even lost the showstopper in a way that it didn't favor for Asterix at all. So definitely not a good way for Asterix to be losing in a situation like this. FPS are looking, FPS once again, they're looking very strong. You even have both the lurkers providing not only just the support on the line of sight, but also, saying that there will be a lot of chaos. If one of them gets picked out, you'll be able to, go in for those trades. Doxer will find one, but unfortunately he loses to Arjun. And unfortunately for Near, he won't be able to capitalize it, which means that Asterix will have the man-count advantage.
AST, feels like this round, they're already ready to go ahead and conquer. Caramel, still finding the perfect window of opportunity as they've already lost one fellow member, Doxer. It's a big mistake, as the orbital strike for this particular round could have been a game changer. But on the other end, it's AST who still have it, and Yash, he knows that his guns are going to do the talking. Getting the first one, Wave stuck in the corner. Caramel knew that he had to bait the opponent out in order to get them. And look at him, his angle. He's just waiting for the swing. If he gets it right, things are just going to falter away. Elite is good for one, and Caramel, all of a sudden the floodgates for side B are open. No matter how many times you bring in the ultimate, it's not going to work out. The time has been bought, but now is the time where you're going to see the spike being stuck right in the corner.
Oh no,
Seconds left. And yes, it's a good deviation.
My god, what a close one at that too. Such a great use of the orbital strike. Not only just wasting time, they only had like 6 seconds. And knowing that time is of the essence, we did get to see Team Asterisk just providing risk that they need, like pushing both from the side and also one which we're pushing towards hookah. A really well-made strategy from AST to provide the victory that they need. FPS that was a really close encounter though. They tried to,
Find you.
deny those, kills. Caramel, he did an exceptional job of taking out players in towards the site, but it was usually the recovery was already present. So yeah, Caramel gets one. Yash also gets another one, taking out Elite as well. And with the huge pressure that they've applied in towards the fountain, they have no idea that the Caramel is actually on B site.
Oh, that's a big mistake. Now this entire three-man squad is heading forward. They're gonna take the teleport, and Caramel knows that the teleport has been taken, but the last man, Icarus, he was still lingering around, waiting for Caramel to peek, and Arjun, he will for sure hit all of his shots on point, on target. As the post plant has commenced towards side B, thanks to Caramel holding it till the very end, they have gotten the money, but this is the last round. What's the point? There comes the orbital strike, keeping the enemies at bay, and alongside a satchel. Why, Smoker?
I mean, use all the abilities that they can. Post plant, it's a 2v4. All odds are against them. Not a single utility is currently present for FPS, which means that they need to rely heavily on the Vandal, and somehow Doxer, you madman, he gets the 3, somehow he gets away with the kill. Arjun, he needs to stick with it, but Doxer, he doesn't get it. It ends up a clutch. Doxer, what a really great place, but in the end, it was Arjun who ends up saving it all for the team. And for Asterisk, they'll be able to end the first half on a 6-6 equalizer.
A big risk taken. And yes, it has given the reward. The scoreline would have been 7-5, but instead it is 6-6. That's the power of Arjun. That's the power of going in for that ninja. The half diff, and right after that, the follow-up. Nobody could even guess for the right mind onto what just happened. But there's a factoid for you all. 120 FPS showcased their competitive spirit by facing WG Esports in the upper bracket semifinals in the TEC Showdown Series Season 6, delivering intense gameplay that kept fans on the edge of their seats. And yeah, even I was watching it. I was legit on my toes.
Yeah. And clearly we are seeing that right now from 120 FPS. Pressure is on, so are the abilities to counter the aggressive attempts that's been made from Asterisk. Right now, they're just gonna play it safe. Smokey, like, almost having a chance to get that headshot from Ghost, but you forgot about Near. I believe Near is... he actually did get a kill all the way from the spawn itself, which is in fact a crucial kill. But here comes Icarus. He gets one. Smoke A, once again playing it safe as possible. He finds another, thanks to Near, who's currently in the site, making it even much more difficult for Asterisk to get in the site itself.
Nobody can penetrate it. Nobody can. Now the aim game needs to be at 100% efficiency, and that's where they can enter towards the site and go for a possible post plant. Asterisks, they're not gonna go ahead and do something more dangerous than just running out of this fight.
25 seconds left, and I'm not gonna lie, especially for a pistol round, this is the longest we've actually gone. And Doxer, just hearing the footsteps of his enemies, he chose to play it as safe as possible. Here's the spike so is the post plant, but Doxer is waiting for the next opponent. Finds one, gets a second, and just like that, Doxer, he'll be there to clean it off. Pistol round will be theirs, and for FPS, this will be a win on their second half pistol round.
$120 FPS. This was the part where I thought that AST is gonna go ahead and get the round, but eventually they could not. The ironclad, complete fortification of the entire squad has made things possible till the very end. 120 FPS, they did manage to squeeze the entire round, but there was a post plant committed in the previous one. So that will give room for one or two players to go ahead and initiate their sneaky plays. And that's what Yash is going ahead and doing it. He's bringing in those satchels alongside the Bucky to get that early control, no matter where the location is. He's possibly going to do that, Bulldog in hand, no matter what the flashes are going to do. He's always going to be on point. Caramel, good for one alongside Elite, but one by one, the entire team is moving forward, charging their way through, trying to drop as many weapons as they can. Icarus, this man is unstoppable.
Oh boy, this is not good though. Smoke A, only about Ghost in hand, somehow gets away with the kill. Icarus, what did he just do? Oh man, he was just trying to get away to safety, but the timing from Smoke A to push in deep towards the lamp, let's not forget, he only had a Ghost. Ghost versus a Bulldog, in which case the Bulldog would have won. And Kramil, that free kill that we witnessed, my goodness, he just took out a jumping raise and a collateral kill from both ends. And that is a much more plausible effect that you get to expect from FPS. And the way how they've managed to secure those kills is just so, so beautifully done though. And right now you can clearly see the amount of frustration that's going around from Asterisk's end. Peaks will be made. Smoke A, once again, almost having the important line of sight. But let's not forget about the showers, because Wave has just found out the opening. He takes out Elite and the second player who was currently holding into the side. And the third, thanks to River. The site is opened up, so is the pressure from FPS, because they only have 2 players left. Host Plan is present, so is Asterisk, waiting for the players to make their move.
120 FPS, stuck with a couple of players on the other end. AST, they're all happy. They're well fed, they have good weaponry as well. Now is the time where we could see Near just going ahead. He's getting a weapon or two out from the hands of the opponents. Gets the first one. That's target. Done right, dusted. He's thinking about disengaging from the battle. And it's a good call nonetheless. I would respect that. Hands down, these weapons are going to see yet another round. As long as it's going to stay alive till the very end.
Yeah, the Showers fight clearly did favor for the Gecko. Waves was just finding the right moment. I believe the flashes were put to use. The flashes did connect to at least one of them, catching them off guard out in the open. Has no one, has no proper defense to fall back all the way towards the safe spot. And I believe that's exactly what maybe happened in that situation. But yeah, Showers control definitely didn't quite work out well in FPS's hand. And unfortunately, they also had to lose the op in the process all the way from B long. Let's not forget, it was a controller who had the op in hand. Now Caramel making sure to decide to go back from the other side, but Yash decides to get a miraculous headshot that could open up the entirety of Asterisk's execute.
Oh my god. That's an early loss.
Oh.
120 FPS. A big blunder. Now this entire team is just waiting for the right opportunity to barge inside. They're still towards A main, planning for a perfect decoy plan, but look at that. The chase is on. The Prowlers are constantly being kept in check. And River, I believe he had gotten the entire information wrong that the player might be having an operator in hand. Nope. He had a Phantom, good for 2. And there is a post plant as well.
Player standing.
The wingman always prevails victorious, gives that easy plant, and later on the post plant positioning needs to be on point. The last man standing could not check where Yash was, and Smoker is gonna lose that operator.
Drink some water, reload your mags, and let's get back out there.
Not only do the Rays will lose the operators, so would Icarus. He was just trying to head in towards the heaven side and try to get that weapon back as fast as he could, but the timer ticked down to 0 and they had to spawn back, which means that they have no other choice but to buy the op and try to slowly make their way in towards that equalizer. Right now, the second map itself, it is just equalized all the way up from 8 to 8. And you can clearly see that Asterisk are just proving to be giving a really great fight from their end.
Proving to be lethal. Asterisk trying the level best till the very end, giving the competition, and first off, 120 FPS, they're losing players. And it's the controller, the Viper, who could do a lot of things moving forward in this round. Unfortunately, it's not going to be seen currently. ST yet again having their master plan, a perfect execution, slowly heading towards side B itself. checking every single corner, nook and cranny, so that the opponents don't get a freebie.
The executes will be made. Not good enough weapons for FPS to deal with this heavy situation. So the lead proceeds to get those headshots as best as they can. The showstopper, I believe, was being put to use. Unfortunately, it won't be able to catch any players as of now. So FPS still losing one player, but the time is still in their favor. So all they have to do is just wait a certain amount of seconds. Wade is kind of the one planting the spike all the way towards connections from showers. 8 to 8 post plant. Who's gonna win?
Oh, it seems tough. The weaponry, first off, has a big difference, and the mosh pit is just going to be taking so much value out of it. Doxer still lurking around the corner. This first battle can be very easy, but it's River who's constantly keeping things under check. Vandal over Spectre any day. Two players are stuck towards lamps, and they're not able to do anything. Both of them way too low. And if AST plans on to risking the Thrash as well, that'll be the biggest blunder that they will do. But nope, they're taking things very slow. They know that the Thrash in the next following round will be very deadly. Alongside goes the two frags, as they did not give the orb to the opponent. So good call.
Yeah. Good call. If they're stuck in lamps, let's just make sure that they get stuck in lamps, especially once the spike detonates and get caught in the blast. It's better to be safe than sorry. I mean, it's the safest method you can think of, instead of, you know, risking it all for a 50-50 gunfight, which could end up being in favor for FPS. So the safest route is the best way to ensure success, and they'll evidently do so with a good lead of 9 to 8, 1 point lead. And for FPS, neural theft is active. Neural theft is available for Caramel. So once he finds the kill, information would be crucial. And for Asterix, Thrash would definitely be the make it or break it moment to see whether if they could catch one of the players off guard.
11. Get out. He knows he needs to be on point. Did manage to get the most important player there, the Gecko. The plan could have been done very easily, but for now it needs to be held right there. Caramel. Big mistakes all across as Arjun is pondering onto the doorstep, saying that now it's my time to go ahead and rule. Doxer still around, lingering inside the site, but this entire train, we all know it's gonna head towards A itself. Both of the players are way too close towards the teleport, and they're just waiting it out. The moment the couple of players, which is Fade alongside Arjun, check all of those corners and understand that the A site is completely open, that's where the entire execution will be seen. And there comes the decoy, there comes the fake, but in this fake, they forgot about Near. They could not analyze the entire situation. Now, instead of taking a teleport and heading all the way towards showers, they're gonna execute towards B itself.
Now the timing.
10 seconds left.
You know, patiently wait and get the perfect time, get the perfect kill. It is so well made. And in a 2v3 situation, Arjun just be there to ensure that none of those pushes will be even much more problematic.
Wow.
But, yeah, they're going to invest Viper Spit as well. So FPS, they have the chance, but you forgot about the orbital strike from Icarus, which could cause major damage from their end. They still have a lot of time. Viper Spit would still block important lines of sight, which could cause problems for Asterix's end.
Oh yes.
One enemy remaining.
Fuse, it is coming through, but Icarus, he is good for both of these players. Doesn't matter what the situation was. Doesn't matter if the Viper Spit was going ahead and being accomplished for. It's AST getting those rounds, which are very crucial, finally giving a really good response against 120 FPS. The risk factor is up, and so is the reward factor.
The tech pause will be given from the side of AST, I believe. So, yeah, almost all of the rounds that we did expect, it was just so chaotic. It's like some random times it was the side of AST who would end up most of the post plant, and some of them would usually end up in favor for FPS. But second half itself, we can clearly see the major distinction of the amount of rounds that we did, the amount of rounds that we did get to expect. I apologize for that, but yeah, a little bit of facts though. ASTERISK had a notable journey in TEC Showdown Series Season 6, facing teams like X Crew in the lower bracket semi-finals, showcasing their determination to fight through the elimination rounds. Which means that ASTERISK, let's not forget, they were the winners of Season 6. Which means that just because they lost map number 1 doesn't mean that in map number 2 it could happen the same thing and 120 FPS would end up winning the entire matchup. No, ASTERISK, they are still in the fight. They have guaranteed a total of 10 kills, and now they are just 3 rounds away of securing map number 2 and put us all the way to the deciders.
And I'm hoping that they can bring in all of that fight. Yes, team. You all have understood one thing, that their strategies are better than 120 FPS. 120 FPS is not able to decipher what kind of plays are coming forth. The risk is always there. And that's how they're continuously just going ahead, heading towards one of the sites. And love the part where in the previous round, they were just sitting ducks towards the teleporter. The moment they get the information that A is clear, all of the players have bought our fake, they're heading towards B itself, they would have taken the TP, headed from shower, and the plant would have been secured. But the inside, where the entire area was completely clear, was the best thing. Now the Thrash, even though it was committed, it did not even see any of those corners thanks to the tripwires. Corners contested, but it's not gonna be that easy as Yash, he's good for 3. Last man standing, and he bites the dust as well. Arjun, sealing the deal, getting the 11th on board. ASTERISK, they are just playing everything to perfection now.
Yep. ASTERISK just, even with the timeout that's been having, the technical timeout, we did get to witness how powerful we did get to see, ASTERISK just taking out players one by one, especially with the way how Yash initiated most of those gunfights. You having a smoke in play, even with the amount of aggressive pressures that we witnessed from FPS, unfortunately, it wasn't enough to maintain that control situation. And he's completely bombarded with multiple abilities, and Wave will be the first to pick out the important controller, which was necessary for FPS's defense.
Look at them. Right after getting a pick, they skedaddle. They know if they linger around more, there might be some mistake committed from their end. So, yeah, they're playing everything calculatively. But Caramel, again, the backline is completely exposed. Did manage to get one, but there are trades coming left, back, and center. Nightfall being committed as well. AST, what's it gonna look like? Yash, good on Caramel. And all of a sudden, the tables have turned. It's a 3v2 where the Seekers have already been utilized. Final run will be using the orbital strike. But before that, it was Yash swinging around from the corner and getting that frag.
Yep, Yash with the final kill, and with that, map number 2 could go at the hands of none other than ASTERISK. What an amazing performance that we do get to witness from Yash, especially in the second half. Making those impactful plays, delivering comebacks, and the important part, making sure that the morale of their team is sky high. And they are one round away of securing map number 2, in which we might expect to see map number 3 be opened up, Ascent. But in order for that to happen, FPS needs to deny it, but they are way too far away. They did go in for a safe buy. Once again, Smoke A, aggressive attempts to try to remove out the players out of the equation. They have the information, but the Prowler catches Raze, denying its sight and taking it out. That huge risk might have cost them the entire match here.
It's the ending rounds. That's not even the small mistake which we could say. Arjun and Icarus, it's all about the frags which are just pouring at this point of time. AST steering clear from every single bad conundrum, and it's a team ace at the final round. 13-8, ladies and gentlemen, and that's how the entire story of Bind has ended. Now, as we ascend towards Ascent, I believe things can change.
things definitely can come into a change, Azura. That I can assure you. Map number 1, map number 2, it's already done and dusted, which means map number 3, Ascent, is the only deciding factor to determine which team will be heading out towards the upper brackets and which team would be going down to the lower brackets, fighting with the first matchup. And I have to say, it's a really great way for Team Asterisk to win an almost losable situation in the first half, and in the second half, you get to see them come back, taking out the controllers one by one. The early kills from the showers, especially Gecko, being the ones to remove them. That was just a job well done, though.
Well, true. So overall, I was pretty impressed with the first half. It was a really good initiative coming in. Scoreline being 6-6, then getting the pistols as well. Things were shaping up to be really, really good for 120 FPS until the controllers started getting slapped right across. Those headshots were definitely a brunt force approach coming in from AST, and from there on, it was a roller coaster journey. Capitalizing every single time is very vital, and that's one of the things which AST keeps doing again and again. They know that they're going to be super confident in their own map pick, and that's what they did.
Yeah, and that confidence eventually led to map number 3. So Ascent will be the final deciding factor, and for Asterisk, they definitely did earn a chance to go all the way up and beyond. Unfortunately though, for 120 FPS, their efforts were really powerful in the first half. In also the same part on map number 1 split, unfortunately it wasn't enough to handle out the amount of problems that Asterisk decided to deliver, which did ended up on map number 3. So yeah, I believe we will see our crucial moments from the entire matchup on map number 2. So these crucial moments will definitely help us determine what exactly happened on map number 2 that led the side of Team FPS lose their grasp in the second half and provide Asterisk the win that they need on map number 2.
I'm sorry. Those 120 FPS is big onto Bind.
Oh boy, that is not good.
And they won it on, they won the map on their opponent's pick. Well, I'm not understanding. It's like, you know what, we play Bind better than you is what the statement is. But for sure, Split did not go in really good ways. But finally, the even Steven grounds, this is Ascent, is what we're going to witness. But before all of that, looking at all of these skills, I have been more than satisfied. Like, there was this one opportunity where I could see this guy running for her life, begging for mercy, not to chase her, and 3 men, legend, 3 players were running around behind, thinking that, you know what, we're going to get the first frag, the opening, and no matter what happens, whether the side goes for tatters, it's okay. We're going to bait out every single play that we can possibly do.
Yeah, and just like that, map number 2 Bind definitely goes at the hands of Asterisk. It's just patience all over the way. And if they want to go aggressive, they have, I mean, they do bring in some, changes around the sides. But I have to say, Caramel, he did his level best as the Sentinel. But unfortunately, it was the side of Team Asterisk who eventually did, have secured in ensuring most of the outcomes that we did get to expect here at the Showdown series. So all in all, I have to say map number 1, it was a bit of a dangers from 120 FPS. But right now, talking about Asterisk, I believe that there is some hopes and dreams for them on map number 3.
I'm hoping for the same. But all of that is going to be unraveled right after a short little break. See you on the other side. Well, first game number 1 and now game number 2. Both of them are going for the milestone, the third mapper. And we all love to enjoy all of these actions, right? Especially once we are in the set as well. We are at Ascent, and finally in the decider also we are going to go to Ascent.
Well, I'm not gonna lie, what good way to end the first day for the Showdown series to end up on a map like Ascent, huh? Because it's not like we haven't seen Ascent for a long time, right? Like every single map you'd expect, you'd always see Ascent being picked. And when it comes to the agent selects, once again, it's just a mirror matchup all in all. But for 120
Right.
FPS, they had an opportunity in map number 1, and that opportunity has stolen none other than Team Asterisk. So right now on map number 3, it's do or die situation from both the sides. Only one team will proceed into the upper brackets, and only one would go all the way down to the lower brackets. Who will it be? We just have to wait for the matchup for that to happen.
Exactly. Fingers crossed, and let's hope for all of the teams to go ahead and enjoy the entire part of it, because the journey, it's going to be long. Hopefully, things are going to be heading towards overtime as well. But talking about the scoreboard of the previous game, the way the entire action was unfolding, let's just have a look and understand what just went right up. So yeah, Icarus, 22 frags from his end. He has been doing a lot of heavy lifting for the entire crew, for the entire squad. And even though Yash, he was a duelist, it's gonna be Icarus, man, who has lifted from both the ends. It's the controllers. All right, cool. That's one thing which we have understood.
Yeah, it's the controllers who are at the limelight in this series, especially on map number 2 Bind. Both Doxer, his multi-kills was just so amazing to look at. But unfortunately, there were some certain moments where I believe it was the Sentinel Arjun who did stole the round away, almost all of them in the second half, giving them the lead and also the opportunity for Team Asterisk to proceed into the third decider map. And also, how can I not forget about Wave with a total of 13 kills? His constant attempt of pressuring in towards Showers ended up being a boon for them, but with not only just executing towards the A side, but also getting the early kill and backing away to safety.
But talking about the MVP of the map, yes, it's gonna be Icarus. Man, kudos. The way he has been playing, all right, like from the beginning till the very end. Being a controller, you already have so much weight on his shoulders, and the moment you know how to dissipate it properly, that's what you can get, the MVP of the match. Yes, it's going to be Icarus, having a KD of 22, 13, and 10 respectively, ACS of 290. He has brought in a lot of trifecta, but over 4k damage is what I can say that this man has plunged on the opponents.
Yeah. Although I have to say the match isn't over yet. Map number 3 Ascent will be the deciding factor of which team will proceed to the next phase of this Showdown series, and of course which team would break their safety nets in the lower bracket matchup. But all in all, I have to say, what an amazing 2 matches that we've had, especially in the day 1, right? And we still have 6 more days to go, especially once we reach in towards the grand finals, which will be happening at 23rd of this month. And after 2 days, it's Christmas, 25th. So I believe once the entire tournament comes to an end, everyone will just enjoy the Christmas days that, happens in our day-to-day lives.
Christmas times, yes. It's going to be fun times, to be very honest. December has been very surprising whenever it comes to events. And 22nd December, guys, wait for the time, wait for the date. We are going to enjoy that BO5. But before all of that, the journey to head towards the top 2 is still going to be undeciphered. 8 teams going tooth and nail against each other and still proving to be the best teams out there. But finally, the second game is one of the places that I want to really go ahead and asphyxiate myself and understand that now the final bell's right, you have to ring it right. It's Ascent. We all know it's a vanilla map. Every single strategy has been implemented here. We have seen top tier teams go ahead and dissipate the others, the opponents. But how well can you go ahead and play that mirror composition is the primary question. But will that composition change? Is it going to be the similar one? Is it going to be one of the things which we haven't seen yet? Previous to this, in Ascent, I have seen people go ahead and utilize Deadlock as well as a sentinel who's tad bit aggressive, can block off all of those chokeholds of the opponents and just tell them that, you know what, there is no trespassing for you right here unless you break in the barrier mesh.
You know, if you're talking about teams itself, I would say that going for a safe pick would be a better option, especially on the agent picks itself. So high likely chance where you would expect a mirror matchup, except some minor changes in the initiators. And just as we take a look at the agent select itself, clearly it looks like a mirror matchup. I mean, who would have thought, right? I mean, I said it would be a mirror matchup. Well, guess what? We have a mirror matchup right here.
We do. Exactly. And right now, it's all about who can execute it better now.
Yeah.
The first advantage, who's it gonna look like? If it's gonna be the controller taking the brunt force onto his head, or the opponent's controller, because in either which case, they cannot go ahead and place those smokes right after they die. So that's one of the biggest parts where the controllers need to stick together till the very end, and initiators need to do the heavy lifting of getting that early insight and the information onto where the opponents can be. Lockdown from both the ends, we know. Enemy battles keep coming in the map of Ascent, and again, we are not surprised at all. We were all hoping for this, and yes, we are going to witness that as well.
Yeah, there's a lot more of actions that will head into our way once we get our players currently present in the lobby, and start things off with match number 3, Ascent. And I would say this third matchup will definitely be a sight to look at, especially, you know, being a mirror matchup, like you said, mistakes, try to capitalize on mistakes, and then you just move on, right? So early picks, I would more likely say that the ones with the op in hand is currently the ones who have the control of the map. That's basically it. That's basically how it works.
True. And with that, right, the mid control, again, it's going to be very crucial. And we all know for a fact that there's alarm bot always waiting towards the staircase region itself. The Pizzeria is one of the places where all of these players know how to go ahead and search for the manhunt, but eventually they step back because of the alarm bot, the insight, the information. But there's already one thing, right? The chaos in the defender's mind. If that chaos keeps brewing up, things are always going to falter for the defense, even though defense is the strongest foothold in this particular map. So I'm hoping that things can fall in right, and whoever starts off from the defense side, they can get those capitalizations right in the early rounds itself. And then moving forward, your attack needs to be on point. Else, we all know the opponents are going to run all over you, and you can't do anything about that.
Yeah, especially when you have an execute which is so fast that even the defenders would have a lot of problems holding in on the site, right? So either you provide aggressive measures, just like the one-way smoke from the Omen, but I don't think we have Omen on the agent pick, if I recall properly. But yeah, we have an Omen, right? So which means that
both the sides Omen.
Yeah, both the sides Omen. Then that means that we will have a lot of control over on the B side hallway, where we have the one-way smoke that is currently present, right? That's very powerful. So nonetheless, folks, let us jump into match number 3, the decider, to determine which team will proceed in the next match. Will it be Team 120 FPS or will it be Team Asterisk? We're about to find out in this beautiful vanilla map that is called as Ascent.
Asterisk versus 120 FPS. It's all about the hype. It's all about understanding who's going to win the pistol round. And Baba Gassa is way too excited. I can see the excitement pouring right out from your face. But now, it's all about execution. But here's the bait. The bait of the fragment. Early departure of the utility, and now the team is not even proceeding towards site A. To my surprise.
Oh boy, wait a minute. I believe, is that a KJ who is deep within enemy's territory? He might have found one of the players. Karamal immediately realizes where Icarus' location is. Unfortunately, he has to fall back, knowing that there is 2 players waiting for him to make his move. But turns out he will not make a decision to push, but it will be Caramel instead. He catches out 2 of the players, falls back to safety, and it's best to not go for a fight again.
No, don't mess with them. Just wait. Karamel's the back lines. That was the part where he had to go ahead and look as River. He has already opened the window of opportunity. The entire team heading towards the side. And this smoke, even though it's not placed right, it's giving all the perfect angles towards the attackers. Couple of players remaining. Smoker alongside the Omen. Both of them playing it close-knit And eventually one has to fade away. Last man standing. Smoker, what can you do? Can you go ahead and get at least one? Nope, he cannot. As Arjun washes down their fate, and AST gets the first one.
Yep. First round itself. And that is one way to make a really great execute though from ASTERISK's end. Especially with the push from the Sova. Belong, the confusion, the pressure from mid, all of them. But it worked out in a melodious way. They just need to keep finding that rhythm over and over again to ensure that the lead would be theirs and the first half's control would be at their hands.
They're playing it smart. They're not at all aggressing. Caramel, he's towards Bicycle and he wants the information, calling in Doxer. The recon does come in alongside the smoke. Everything falls in perfection. One by one, they are falling down, but it's Wave who's constantly keeping things under check. 4 frags for him. And Elite, he did manage to shut him down, but at what cost? Last man standing with a weapon upgrade. And the entire train, look at them. They're treading carefully, cautiously to not drop yet another weapon. The smoke comes through. And with that smoke, if the control comes in from mid, Elite, if he's ready to check all of those corners, no! The players are lining their backs even though Yash was watching the 6. He just could not. He just could not deliver the final blow. Oh, Elite, you beauty.
That is a steal of the century, though. Let's not forget, in round 2, you'd usually go with the simple bulldogs, right? But Wave going in with the risky pick of the Vandal, and that too, he's playing as the controller, though. So let's not forget, he ends up getting 4 kills. He was about to get the ace, but guess what happened? Elite just turned this entire round around. And in round number 3, I am not quite sure how FPS, how Team ASTERISK will look into the situation though, because Near, he is just popping off. The suppression knife works. He gets a kill. He falls back, and next thing you know, ASTERISK, they're already losing 1 initiator.
They're just in the need of 1 orb to get the from the shadows. Smoker, good shots on Icarus. And now the repair, the remedy onto how you can go ahead and get multiple frags. Who is gonna go ahead and get more of it? I believe it is so far a tie between Near and Smoker. Both of them chimed in and it's a flawless coming through.
Yeah, the patience game. And also a huge, disastrous situation that ASTERISK is currently going through because of that one single mistake, because of the Vandal being able to go at the hands of the Omen, not knowing Omen's location, and then ending up in a disastrous collateral damage. Really did end up with the FPS securing 2 rounds back to back, and now they have all the required weaponry to go from, and that would definitely help Smoker. Icarus goes down, there goes your Sentinel, and with it, ASTERISK's dream of pushing in deep within towards the site is made much more difficult. They're going to have to force their way in towards the site, where they'll be met with much more difficulties.
Here's the fragment. Is that towards that corner? Now the entire access towards the site. Outburst right in front, but the pop flash is equally good. Near, he's just making it impossible for the attackers to go ahead and get the control towards the side. He himself is running towards the Jenny. The corners, it needs to be contested, it needs to be checked. The trap comes through. Near getting Arjun as well. And Doxer, the angle being sublime. Just 1 man loss is what I can see from the likes of 120 FPS. ASTERISK, they are at risk.
Definitely. Especially with the way how ASTERISK, even went in for the push. It was an aggressive attempt. The garden unfortunately didn't quite work out well knowing that Nier was still, in the site. He was waiting for the Jet to make its presence known. And once he got the info, once the pop flash worked out, all Smoker had to do was just get the initiation on the kill. Wait a minute, Yash, my goodness, already quickly dashing in with the Stinger in hand. Not a good way to be in this situation, because a long range with the Stinger sure will be able to deal some minor damage, but it won't confirm the kill yet. So here comes the damage from Doxer, especially with the shock dart. Will it catch one of its prey? No, it won't. Not a lot of damage being dealt around, but somehow Yash finds a turnaround at the hands of Caramel, getting one, Smoker getting the other, and next thing you know, it's an entire wipeout from FPS. 4-1. Things are starting to heat up.
120 FPS. Well, I'm impressed. Holding the logs angle, Caramel yet again proving that he's lethal in this map. Giving the support that the entire team needs till the very end. Look at his placements. He's not going to allow anyone moving forward. And turret, where's it going to be? Is it towards the mid area? If it is, then well, very well placed. Because the nano swarms are for sure going to be activated the moment he gets the insight. As soon as the alarm bot gives him the information. Caramel is still playing way towards mid that's a very aggressive angle. I hope he wins that, but no, it's River overflowing, gushing, and taking out one of his arch nemesis. 4v4. And now the numbers are starting to dwindle. Wave constantly being the menace, getting the control back, seizing it. As the entire train, they have headed towards site A.
Gotta be careful of the Sentinel who's patiently waiting from mid, but somehow
Icarus
Doxer wins it.
Spike
All
planted.
right, 2v2. Asterisk is currently in big trouble, especially with the important pick that had happened all the way in towards mid. And now Doxer is in a very important spot. This is good. This is huge. Can he get it? Can they get his headshot? Just Babe, he immediately realizes it. He saw the arm of the Sova, and that was more than enough to head in for that wall bang. It's all up to Smoker. Somehow gets a kill through the paranoia, but it's still not enough. You have those dual peaks, and Wave will be the one to clean things off and provide Asterisk the win that they need in this round. So 4-2, FPS still in the lead.
My God. One single mistake costed the entire round. Doxer, if he managed to stay there in that corner for one more second, they wouldn't have checked at that spot again. Wave, he made sure he could get those frags. And right after that, it was 4K to end the previous round, Babagasta.
Yep. It is very problematic for the side of FPS. Sure that they win the most important round, but then when it comes to being consistent, you can clearly see the way how Team Asterisk has come back with a statement of their own. Right now, if you take a look at the positionings though from the side of Asterisk, they are trying to apply pressure in towards mid. Smoker gets one. Wave once again, his multi-kills has been so influential on a map like Ascent.
Oh!
Somehow Smoker, he gets a kill through the smoke. That is very unexpected, but somehow he gets away with a kill. And now for Asterisk, this is not feeling good according to them.
Oh no. It was like the ticking bomb running in, the likes of 120 FPS. 1, 2, 3, and boom. The operator's shots are always gonna be on point. And whenever you get those kills,
30 seconds left.
it's just that the team is gonna be more happy than ever. Here, he needs to win this battle as the control is solely relying on him. And if he manages to do that, things are gonna shape up to be perfect. Elite for now, good angles, good control, and a nice smoke as well. Favoring
10
his
seconds
conditions,
left.
but eventually he's dropped down to 11 HP. That can be a big mistake. Smoker getting the third one as well. Opening the
planted.
gateways.
One enemy
near.
remaining.
Moving in forward, but there's another player already waiting towards the Xbox. Oh, shotty in hand, and the shotty is definitely gonna deliver that ace. Smoker, you beast! Getting the round alongside 120 FPS. Their confidence is definitely gonna soar high right after this. And especially that kill towards mid was the marker, the crucial replay right in front of you. Thanks, production.
Yep, and also a great way to end the round with a stylish updraft, followed up with the shotgun to end things off with a perfect ace. So timeout will be requested from the side of Asterisk. They have all the necessary ultimates that they have. All they've got to do is just figure out a way to time it perfectly. Null Command from the shadows, Blade Storm, and of course Hunter's Fury is available for Asterisk. But let's not forget, if a timeout is active from the side of Asterisk, which means that for FPS they also have the time to think. So just by taking a look at the scoreboard itself, they'll be able to determine what is their move, what are their counters, and what exactly would they do if they get caught off in a certain scenario. So I believe for the side of Team Asterisk, I believe getting an initial pick should be their main goal, because lessening the impact of execute is much more valuable rather than going in blind and maybe going for a huge rush execute. So taking out the controller or maybe a sentinel would definitely help out, weaken the site, helping them easier access towards the place, and also just to smoke off important lines of sight which are necessary to go in for those executes. But only time will tell. We just have to wait and watch and see what AST have got in store for us.
Blade Storm. That's the first thing in the store. Already implemented. With that, really love to see how he's gonna get the maximum benefit out of it. Mid paths, yes, it has completely been fortified from the likes of the attackers. Moving in, entering towards the site, it's gonna be a tedious task. To which I believe the amount of ultimates that they have, they can barge right in. Null Command, and right after that, the follow-up can come through from the entirety of the team.
Killed my bot.
Caramel, he has the kryptonite for all of these ultimates, the lockdown.
Cold.
And his aim.
Yeah, of course. How can you forget about Caramel's crispy aim? He finds one. Does he have info on the second? Now he does. Second, three, clicks like he's accepting terms and conditions. And now with it, fourth the kill.
30 seconds left.
Patiently as Caramel just makes his presence known. It is looking desperate for AST to be in a very difficult situation. So Caramel, once again, a beautiful way to hold his ground, and for Doxer, it's not a difficult situation for him to deal with as well. So yeah, I believe a flawless round would be in play for FPS, and I believe from the side of Team Asterisk, this was their eco round, and only a blade storm from the Jet would have helped him to get those kills. Unfortunately, it did not.
Oh man.
Enemy remaining.
Caramel knows how to humble his opponents. He knows it so well. He knew for now all he needs to do is stay clear from all of the shenanigans, whether it be Blade Storm or whether it be a Sheriff shot. He held that angle so perfectly, and right after that, the follow-ups were just perfect. AST, for now, there's one reduction of the ultimate and the opponent player as well. Smoker taken right off, but Doxer, he was there to go ahead and get that advantage. Wave on the other corner. He was just waiting for one opponent to go ahead, overstep his boundaries, and the punishment was imminent. From the shadows, it has been utilized. But as what? An expensive recon?
It could be. Could be. For Asterisk, currently, this is their moment to shine. They need this round win desperately in order to survive the next future rounds.
You should run.
And currently, time is their greatest enemy. 53 seconds, lockdown will be in place. But for Doxer, all he has to do is just stay in a different position. And once it goes all the way up to 3 seconds, then we get to see them witness the execute on the side of Team Asterisk. They're barging in the buildings, pushing in, finding an opportunity, and River, what a clean shot. A really great reset though on his crosser position to get that headshot as well in the process. And in the post plant, Team AST, they're looking strong on this one.
Strong alongside the man count advantage. It's working out to be a charm for them. Corners need to be contested. The first one comes through near. He never misses any corners. Ball flashes all across. Gets a second one, but way one tap to the head. And he shuts down near. Dogs to the last man standing. He did fly down to rescue the entire round. But can he do it? He goes in for the half diff, and the swing comes through Icarus. He's going to be desperate. He knows that he needs to jiggle his way through. Goes for the white swing and he wins it. Perfectly done. Gets the third on board. And 3 more rounds to go.
Yeah, a risky peek, but eventually Icarus gets the job done. Usually when it comes to a peek, you have jiggle peeks, you have wide peeks, and then you have a peek and a crouch. So you basically need to guess exactly what kind of peaks does a specific player would go through. And unfortunately, it was almost a really great opportunity for the Sova to recover that round back. Unfortunately, it did not. 6-3. And the side of FPS, they have some certain utilities that could go in for some ultimates that could help them in denying, and that denial is none other than Null Command, which basically takes out almost most of the smokes. But wait a minute, here comes Doxer, getting those 2 kills back to back, and just like that, it is ASTERISK who's currently in big trouble.
No matter how much information you get, it's not going to work out. But in the previous round, Doxer had a big responsibility. And the moment you crouch, you lose your battles. And that's where Icarus shined. But this time, they did not get the opportunity. Look at the way Doxer just held his ground, kept all of the opponents humbled, getting 3 frags and the 7th on board. 120 FPS, they're on for the haul. They're getting rounds left, back, and center, and it's helping them build the economy. And on the opponent's side, all of those ultimates, once it just fades away, things are just going to crumble down. Icarus, just Sheriffs, this entire team is locked and loaded, but so does Caramel showcase himself. He's also at the same kind of individual gameplay, but Arjun gets the third, nailing all of his shots, the weapon upgrade, and he's heading all the way towards the site, knowing that it's all wide open for business.
Yeah, it's free real estate, and for FPS, this is danger.
Spike planted.
They've lost the site, they've lost the man count, and what's more important is, Team ASTERISK almost getting another round win in the first half itself. Postpone is also present. The suppression knife, I believe one of them might have gotten caught from Elite, or maybe it isn't, not quite sure. But you still have the Null Command. He could commit for this 2v3 situation if they are going for it. But Arjun, he looks at it like a clock. He gets the 4th, doesn't get the 5th. Near doesn't have information. He has information on one of the oppos though. But does he know the information on the other player? No, he does not. Now he knows. Thrifty round for Team ASTERISK. 7-4.
Last
As
round before
FPS will have another last round in the first half to see whether if they can end things off on an 8-4 or a 7-5.
Wow. They were just pacing forward. And that's for the likes of 120 FPS. But the moment the Thrifty came through, the individual gameplay just showcased from the likes of Arjun. That's where things just started dwindling. Solo, he could anchor the entire side. He completely bombarded it with the Sheriff shots. And now no matter how much tries you give in, it's gonna be tough. Elite, way too aggressive as always. Being the controller, if his life would have gone right there, the smokes wouldn't have been available, but it doesn't matter. As Yash, he's just pondering his way through Caramel. Good for one. Job is still not yet done. It's a 4v3 scenario where Yash has already seized control towards trees. Caramel, he's stuck, he's pincered, he needs backup, he's calling in all of his teammates as a fragment is just blowing him into bits and pieces. The back, it needs to be checked. Josh, you could not do that. But eventually he has to fade. There's a fake TP coming in. It's a big play and he's being constantly pinged as well. The Hunter's Fury committed and this potentially can be the round which 120 FPS was looking for, and they get it as well. 8-4, ladies and gentlemen, as the first half, it's over.
First half done and dusted. Second half is up for grabs. And for FPS, ending the first half on a very high note clearly determines the fate of AST's, matchup for the Showdown series. So Yeah, this is the third map, so final it is the decider after all. And Team Asterisk not being able to secure those important frags really did place them on a state of bother. But hopefully on the second half they'll be able to bring it back. Hopefully with some minor changes, and especially how can I forget about Waves' exceptional performance while he was on attack, getting those triple kills, multi-kills. There was a lot of multi-kills coming in from his end. A total of 13 kills and 14 from Smoka and Caramel. 13 kills and 10 for Doxer. Quite a lot of double digits coming in from the side of FPS. Now, as the pistol round proceeds and at the second half, you see a dual pick coming in from the side. Caramel gets one, doesn't get the other. Yash gets away with the trade. And an important one to determine whether if Team Asterisk can hold their ground or not.
Mid already explored. Smoka, his angle, if he keeps it hidden, and then later on catches a couple of players off guard while they're rotating towards side A, it's gonna be the best play possible. 120 FPS. Little do they know that the entire site is completely open towards B. It's just one solo man anchoring from far off distance, understanding that there might be some kind of a push. Now is the time for Yash to go ahead and hit his shots. There's one player way too close, and he's holding for it. Smoka. If he gets his shots right, he can get multiple frags. Just goes in for the cloudburst, and now he's going to reposition himself as it's a post-plant scenario. Corners contested, but it's Smoka winning the first battle. There is a shock dart coming through as well, but Icarus, his aim is equally good. They still have to penetrate through the site. They have to go ahead for that diffusal as well as the spike is ticking. Doxer fought off angles as Wave, he did make way. For how long? One by one, they are falling down, but the time is being bought continuously. Elite gets the second one as well, but if the third one comes through, then yes, it's all gone for Tatters. 120 FPS, gets the pistol, and from here on, for Asterisk, it's gonna be more risky to get those rounds.
Yep, 9-4 pistol rounds in the hands of FPS, and how next thing you know, the other next rounds could go either at the hands of AST if they do make a decision to go in for a force plant. But yeah, once again, it's really tough though for Asterisk. Not gonna lie, the second map for Bind, Asterisk really showed that the potential of their playstyle, clearly showing their amazing performance and their marksmanship. But right now, going up against FPS, you can clearly see that there is a lot of tensions that's brewing around, making it difficult to focus on the task at hand.
Love it how these two players are just solely relying on one single player, that is Caramel. And the others, they're wanting to go ahead and explore towards mid. Caramel, yet again, close-knit angles, and he's still waiting for the execution. This should be a potential win itself, as Wave has already been taken right off. The smokes are not going to be seen from the likes of the defenders in this particular round. Yash, on the other end, can he avenge the fallen comrade? Rambot right in front. Information will be given right away. If Yash pushes through, he pushes, but his HP way too low. Smoka, no matter how well River places himself, it's going to be Smoka capitalizing as a weaponry has a big difference whenever it comes to the plays.
Spike planted.
And even with Arjun with less amount of HP, they are actually attempting for a knife.
Okay.
And oh boy. I mean, especially it's just a one man, especially when you have only one man with just the pistols, and if he's nearsighted, what else can you expect than a
Boink.
knife that happens out of nowhere? But yeah, FPS, they're looking strong though in the second half, 10-4. They've got the pistol round and the round next to it, which means that bonus round is in the hands of FPS. And if they win this one as well, then that means that Team Asterisk would definitely head in towards the danger zone.
Oh, okay. Good trades, Caramel. Why? Why would you look away from a target who was approaching right in front? Big mistake. But let's see how well can 120 FPS capitalize on this. nano swarms all across, both of them activated. That's the biggest mistake coming in. They are forcing the hands of AST. And then, right after that, giving away the orb. This is just going to make the Hunter's Fury more imminent.
Let's not forget the spike is still at B, and the thing about Asterisk is that they've decided to go all the way back, which would leave the entirety B side opened up. The only problem is FPS don't have any idea on the rest of the player's location, which could cause a lot of difficulties. Basically, Asterisk just got away with the information game, and now realizing exactly where the push is happening, Smoker, he gets to take away with an important kill. Wave going aggro, he might end up getting another one. Crucial moments. FPS
30 seconds
in
left.
just 2v3 situation. Smoker is patiently waiting for that moment. He goes in for a jump peek. Wave knows exactly what's happening through the smoke. He goes in with the pre-fire. He secures it, and the next thing you know, it's just all up to Doxer. Currently having the spike in hand, not enough time left. You need at least 4 seconds to proceed with
10
post
seconds
plant.
left.
And I believe he has no other choice but to go for it. All by his lonesome. Only has shock darts, only has recons, and his trusty Vandal to try to get that kill. He finds one. Unfortunately, time ran out. Doxer will get it. Doxer will get the plant, but unfortunately, not the round.
Making sure to win the fight was not that important. He could have chosen those boxes areas, could have gone in for the post plan, could have put some extra credits in the accounts of his teammates, but unfortunately, it was right after the timer just went poof. Doxer, good attempt. And moving forward in this particular round, I would really love to see how 120 FPS is gonna reel things together. They're right now at the driver's seat, but you never know. This is the game of Valorant. Things can dwindle, things can change. Smoker getting the first frag, and Wave, he's constantly just going ahead and fake teleporting. The shrouded steps, this can work through, but Elite, he's good with his aim. He cannot go ahead and, humble himself down thinking that, my aim is not that great. Nope. He saw the target and he aimed right at the head.
Yeah, now with shot being contested here from the hands of Sova, you can clearly see that they're being, they're being in a very difficult situation though. Caught on all corners, but somehow Yash finds an opening, and that opening is so huge. He's in it for the ace, and now he's going in for the defuse. Half defuse is present, so is the kill from Doxer as Icarus gets the wall bang, and Jet was the one who's currently going in for the defuse as well. So I have to ask you this one important question though: is history repeating itself? Just exactly what had happened on map number 2.
That's a big mistake, Babagasta, if you ask me. So many players were available in the site, but still the post-plant positioning was not at all accurate. They all crumbled down. It was like a dominoes effect in entire chain reaction. And one by one, Yash, the moment he dashed through, he got those frags, 3, 4, and later on the defuse as well. 120 FPS right off the bat. Look at the HP onto Smoker. I barely can see it.
Very low though. Yeah. It's got to be really careful as once he execute on the site once again, right? Especially when you go in for a smoke dash. Paranoia will be present, and so is from the shadows. I believe that's been used from Elite. Control on B is imminent. So is the Jet, who will make an attempt to go in all the way from the backside for the flank. Here comes Karamil, peeking very aggressively. Not a good idea, because he is not only going to take a kill, but also get picked out in the process. 3v4 situation. Asterisk currently having the advantage on man count, but for FPS, this is the make it or break it moment. Wait a minute, currently you have Jet playing in the market, and he gets one, he gets the second. Smoker, 13 HP remains. Now the distraction is working, but for Asterisk, they realize that there is only 2 players currently in the place, but Yash and Arjun takes out both of them. It's all up in here. Does he have the info of the player? No, he does not. Yash gets away with yet another kill, providing the team the necessary win that they need in round number 17. Team Asterisk slowly inching away of equalizing all the way up to 10-10.
Oh my god. Smoker, that was a valiant effort, but later on there was no follow-up coming through. Boathouse could have been a perfect stance or a place for the likes of Doxer, but eventually he was flushed out by his own terms and conditions. And now, AST, they're already getting their 7th on board, putting 120 FPS onto the thought process that if you do not win this particular round, it's gonna be a comeback. And that comeback will definitely head towards a 10-10 scoreline, and that's where things are gonna change. That's the thing about AST. If they get confident, right, they go ahead and accomplish some impossible feats. That's the beauty of their entire gameplay.
And you can clearly see the way how they're utilizing their utilities from the mid-side. Smoker trying to fall back for now. FPS desperately need to break this momentum of AST as they still have quite a lot of abilities still left in their pockets. Lockdown, Null Command, Blade Storms. This could be very important, especially in the later rounds. Pop Flash being used. Wave unfortunately gets picked out, but Yash is still alive with Yop. He gets to take away Elite. There's still a lot more players left. 45 seconds. The spike is currently at the hands of one of the players as Smoker gets another classic kill. Yash all by himself. He finds one with the Blade Storm. He just needs to find the rest of them. Up in hand, he hears more, I believe, some of the footsteps, but he doesn't have any information though.
Left.
Both of them slowly walking in, knowing that the player is in the site. All they have to do is just drop down and get the kills, but one of them is so low on HP. Just one shot should be enough. Sees the leg. That is just beautifully done. Finding the exact same position right towards the generators and ensure that that kill would be the important one. FPS 11-7. They've managed to break the momentum, and right now they're heading in for a timeout.
Timeout to assess the entire situation, rethink, re-strategize as AST. Well, whatever they did in the previous 3 rounds, it just went away. So those kind of mistakes should not be entertained, and that's what the entire conversation is revolving around. Hoping that it can be sorted, it can be fixed, and push things towards overtime, but I believe it's way too late. The previous round was one of the rounds that they had to get it. If they did not, then yeah, 120 FPS, they still have the room, the space to commit errors and then rectify it as well.
This timeout will be the make it or break it moment for the side of Team Asterisk to ensure that they can get back in the game and see if they can have a chance to put themselves on overtime. But for FPS, they are this close. They are very close of ending this best of 3 matchup. A deciders where a best of 3 ends up being a best of 1 to ensure the victory would be in their hands.
Placing swarm grenade.
You can clearly see the rest of the utilities that FPS used in the previous round. A lot of utilities were expended all the way towards mid. But right now, in this round, I'm just really curious to know where would they give their main focus on. I'm pretty sure it has to be none other than Caramel, but wait a minute, looks like Elite has found an important turnaround, and that is the Jet being taken out from Asterisk. This is looking huge, as the Duelist has already been taken down at the early round itself.
The weaponry is way too weak. And that's one of the things that 120 FPS knows about. And right up around that, if AST goes ahead and thinks about, having a stack towards B, that would have been the better decisions, or A, either ways. But go hand in hand, go together, don't go solo for the endeavor, as you don't have the weapons to go ahead and do that. When you're on pistols, you can have that gamble stack, but now that gamble stack is not going to be working as Wave. He does manage to get 2 thanks to Paranoia and later on his aim game as well. Now on, the post plan is going to be equally tough. They are from the shadows. Yes, we can see the lockdown. It can be committed, but this round is far too precious for them to go ahead and do it. The lockdown being committed, but one by one, the entire team has already parted ways in this particular round. And there comes a 12th on board for 120 FPS.
They're fighting to the end. Typical and pointless.
Match point is in for 120 FPS. And all they had to do was just wait for them to place the lockdown and just bring in the cavalry. 12-7. And for FPS, this is one round away for them to proceed to the next phase of the upper brackets.
Shutting them down.
The way how they're playing it and the way how they're playing it methodically is just, it's really inspiring to see most of these plays coming into fruition.
You are powerless.
And for Yash, being picked out quite early, the suppression, the paranoia, and oh, the
Yash!
confusion. Oh boy, that is so tough to look at. The paranoia was on point, the suppression, unable to dash away from the problems, and now that opening is, it's wide open.
Out of my way.
Yeah,
FPS, they've got it.
Spike planted.
It's just 1v4, it's all up to wave. It's all the way towards the spawn, and you can see the rest of the players slowly inching closer towards the spawn, and with it, we will see Team 120 FPS secure their victory up against Team Asterisk.
Oh my god. The last round was a daylight robbery. Not gonna lie, every single corners and the timing of the paranoia. Yash, he was finding ways. He dashed right into the wall, thinking that this is the place where he had to be, but no, it wasn't. That was the kind of surprise that 120 FPS gave them. But the revamped edition of 120 FPS is something that we all are looking forward to. The action, absolutely amazing since the beginning. They had those perfect agendas. Even though it was the opponent's pick, they won that. But in their own pick, they fumbled. It's all right. But at the end, look at the gameplay in Ascent. The vanilla map where they could go ahead and seize the day.
Yeah, and 120 FPS, they will end up in a very happy spot in the upper brackets at the Showdown series, that is for sure. And for Asterisk, I have to say, a well done effort, but their journey is not over yet. They still have a chance in the lower brackets to fight, live on, and hope to get the spot of the grand finals. And yeah, those were the two matches that we had for today, folks. And I have to say, the next 4 more matches that we're going to have on the upper brackets will be amazing. But before we do that, why don't we take a look at the crucial moments and see the entire highlights of the matchup that we just get to witness here on map number 3 Ascent, especially the performance from Elite. This clutch, a 1v2 weapon upgrade clutch in round number 2, changed the entire pace of the team, and for FPS, that definitely did keep their momentum going in the first half.
One enemy remaining.
It was like they both were stuck with some kind of adhesive right on their backs, and they're like, wait a second, you move, I move. I don't move, you don't move. And the moment they moved together, they could not check those right corners.
Yeah.
And that's where the entire thing went through. But they still had the room, Baba Gasta. Not gonna lie, they had the room to go ahead and get some more rounds of their own. But eventually, the aim game, right, it was a big diff. We told the first things first, right? Like in the speculation itself, while we were having a conversation regarding the entire lineup, that it's about who does it better. And it's 120 FPS. They have proven that they do everything better in the map of Ascent. No matter it's going to be a mirror composition or not, they still managed to go ahead and get those rounds. And there was an ace as well. So altogether, man, kudos.
Yeah, kudos to them. They've made an exceptional performance, and with it came glory. I mean, although we still have a lot of matches left, that is for sure. But for the upper brackets, double elims, we just completed 2 of our matches. And I have to say, we still have 2 more matches which will happen for tomorrow, for day after tomorrow, and the round next to it. So it's just non-stop Valorant action coming in at the Showdown series. And of course, this is just the beginning, folks. We still have a lot more games to go through. So I have to ask, out of the 2 matches that we did get to cast together, I have to ask, what was your favorite moment that is still stuck in your head?
Caramel's mid-lurks in the map of Split. That man was all across. He did not give the room or the space for AST to go ahead and breathe. That man was absolutely perfect when it came to the lurk gameplay. 3 frags all across, and whenever the team needed him the most, right, he delivered. That's the kind of man that you need in your team. A chill guy. Not even worrying about anything, keeping his aim right on target and hitting those heads. That's all, man. That's all you need.
Yep, I would say my favorite moment was the part that we did get to witness the ace from the jet, right? With the op plays. That was an amazing one to look at. But yeah, all in all, there's a lot of great moments. And of course, we have our crucial moments to thank for to capture those important highlights as well.
Well, true that. And this is like the kind of experience that every single player wants as well. They want their own montage, they want their own gameplays to be showcased as well, hyped at the right moment. So yeah, they've been enjoying the entire game. We could see that enjoyment through their face as well, even though at the very end, AST started to regret their decisions, their fight making, and all of those situations. I'm hoping that it can turn out to be better next time onwards. But for now, they have the safety cushion, right? They can head towards the lower bracket and from there on start the journey again towards the west. And mind you guys, last season also they started the journey from the upper bracket, headed way towards the lower bracket, and from there on they became the champions.
Yeah, well, let's take a look at the scoreboard as well and see the final result of map number 3, FPS between Team Asterisk, 13-7. And the MVP from the side of FPS is none other than Smoker. Amazing performance, 28 kills. And on the side of Team Asterisk, we have Wave currently playing as the controller. And man oh man, did he deliver quite a lot of multiple kills in a single round, which eventually did change the whole aspects of the round. But still, eventually, it was 120 FPS who did end up being victorious.
The individual gameplays alongside the team strategies, everything was picture perfect. 120 FPS, they did deliver, but good amount of competition from the likes of AST as well. And I'm hoping that all of those mistakes that they've created in this particular map, they rectify it. And whatever happened in Split, that should not happen again because it's their pick. Whenever you choose your pick, it's like you're confident in that map. And that confidence needs to be showcased in the gameplay as well, which I could not clearly see it at all. In the second one, they did bounce back in the map of Bind, but in the third one, things could have gone better.
Yeah, it could have gone better. I mean, even on Bind as well, there were some certain moments where it did feel like 120 FPS made a slight amount of mistakes. There were moments where Wave was currently playing as Gecko at that time. He made a performance as well. But yeah, let's take a look at the MVP for map number 3. And who's it going to be? It's none other than Smoker. 28 kills, 5 first kill, 4k damage and 211 ADR. Now I have to say this man has made an impactful performance on a map like Ascent.
4.2k plus, this is the highest in the room. And this is just the beginning. We have seen plays where people have reached towards 5k as well, being the absolute menace to the society. But it depends upon map to map. Lotus is one of the places that I could see those kind of high digits. But yeah, talking about Smoker, he has smoked every single opponent that he has seen. But yeah, once he has gotten the MVP of the match, it's good, it's great. It'll boost the entire team's morale as well. But usually I've seen Caramel get that MVP. But dethroning Caramel and Smoker getting that MVP, well, that's something to note.
I mean, we also have the leaderboards as well, right? So it could happen. So let's take a look at the MVP of the series. Who's it going to be? Will it be Smoker or will it be Caramel? Only time will tell. Let's get to see who it is. And it is none other than Smoker. Once again, 58 kills in total with 13 first kills.
Salute.
And the entirety of all 3 maps. Man, 13 first kills. That is a double-digit number that I did not get to witness.
11k. Over
I'm sorry, not witness. It's just I didn't get to see it. Like I did not expected it, but a welcomed one. Sorry.
All right, but yeah, talking about the damage as well, right? He has kept all of these departments way too happy. And even the team as well in the entirety, getting those early frags, the first blood being drawn as well. 13 first bloods means 13 times is what he has brought in that trifecta to the entire team. So they're going to be super happy having Smoker in the team. And yes, hoping to see more action in the near future from the likes of this entire squad of 120 FPS who have been revamped.
Yeah, just revamped. It's like it's a different version of FPS we are looking at
2.0.
right now. It's basically 2.0. Yeah, absolutely. So Smoker currently being the MVP of the series on all 3 maps, and I'm really quite intrigued to see the standings for the leaderboards as well. But before we do that, let's take a look at the brackets as well and get to see the update on the 2 of the matches that we have casted for today. So the first matchup was none other than Zero Frags versus Team Amigos. Amigos secures to the next phase, and so is 120 FPS. We will be having the upper bracket semifinals matchup with the Amigos versus 120 FPS soon. And for the lower brackets, we have Team Asterisk versus Team Zero Frags, who are currently in the lower brackets rounds. But not to worry, folks, we still have 2 more matches which will happen in tomorrow. It will be none other than 10-7 versus the Covenant, Untitled versus Shadow Frags, which will happen in tomorrow. But yeah, all in all, the bracket itself, it's looking really crispy though.
It is looking crispy, and so are these players. Talking about the level of leaderboard, Who's it gonna be this time towards the top 3? Is it Caramel who has dethroned someone? Yes, it is. Getting the second position, and Doctor, well, he's always there towards the top-notch performance itself. Ceylon, his position has been derailed towards the third position, but Aspas is still hanging around there. Desync, he's still there in the picture, getting that fifth one. Garage towards sixth, and Batman, yeah, he's still there towards 7.
Yeah, you also have Yash currently in the 10th place as well with a total of 33
Ginola,
MVPs.
Neko as well.
Ginola and Neko currently in the level up leaderboard. So I believe once again in tomorrow we will have major changes as well, right? Because
Yes,
both
sir.
the teams, they've already competed. The upper brackets, like 2 of the upper brackets matchups are done, which means that we still need to focus on the other upper bracket matchup, which will happen for tomorrow. And for lower brackets, I believe it will happen on the 3rd day after that. But all in all, the leaderboard itself, it's interesting to see a lot of major changes. And Doxer once again being on the top of the leaderboard, a total of 56 MVPs, and it's having a multiple MVPs like that. It's really amazing to see, especially in the Showdown series.
That gives you the credits as well, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
The more you perform for the team, the more higher ranks you climb. You could see Caramel, right? He was at 3rd position, now he's at 2nd position, detaining one of the players, which is Ceylon. He's currently at 3rd. So all of those situations can change. And all you have to do is give it your 100%, no matter what game it is. Just give your 100%.
Yeah, absolutely. And we definitely did get to see that example though on those 2 matches that we did get to cast. So I have to, I'm really excited and I'm really fortunate that I did get to cast the amazing Valorant matches that are currently happening in the Indian esports scene. And I'm really quite curious to know what's going to happen next in the entire Showdown series. It's like an entire story which could happen right in our eyes for tomorrow. And I just cannot wait to see that.
Well, same here. But you guys, you have a big task ahead. If you want to go ahead and upgrade your PCs, then this is the time. Go ahead and do it. The crucial DDR5 Pro 5600 CL46 RAM delivers 1.75 times faster performance than an average DDR4 RAM stick. So go ahead, upgrade your PC and get those maximum FPSs. Alongside those tabs, you can keep opening them without even worrying where your RAM or where your memory just went through. But yeah, if you want to go ahead and game anywhere, right, Baba Gasta, talking about gaming, talking about storing your entire photos or video games, to be precise, you can go ahead and utilize this crucial X9 Pro SSDs anywhere, anytime, and it's a plug and play, man. How cool is that?
I mean, having a plug and play itself is actually a huge thing though.
Exactly. So yeah, these are the 2 products in town, and if you guys want to check out, link down in the description, alongside it's pinned on the chat as well. So go ahead, click on it and get your products, man. Get your products, get your upgrades, and always game better, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Especially when you're playing a highly competitive game like Valorant, having more FPS definitely counts. So yeah, make sure to check out the products from Crucial. Link is down in the description below and also on the pinned comments. So make sure to check out those. And also, yeah, really great way to end things off as well for the second match too.
True that. And talking about this set, right?
Oh
it's
yeah,
amazing.
Set, yeah.
It has given us all the insights, the action, and the zoomies as well. We all have enjoyed it to the point where we can tell that it is powered by Brainstorm, designed by Fury, and beautifully executed by the Esports Club, where esports is done right.
Absolutely. With that, folks, we will be taking our leave for today. Hope you guys enjoyed it. This is me, Babu Gusta, alongside with my caster Azura Aiden, and we will see you guys in tomorrow. Until then, take care and good night.
Once there was a hunter who saw what others could not. With a magic case in her backpack, she roamed with wild abandon into the great unknown. Her gaze inescapable, her reflexes lightning fast. When armies swarmed, she went through. With eyes open wide, hands steady, holding, watching, capturing everything in sight.
The Crucial Pro DDR5 RAM kit comes with a sleek, modern look that will complement any build. But aesthetics aside, it's the performance that really matters. So let's dive into it. The default JEDEC timings are 46, 45, 45, but it does come with 2 XMP and Expo settings for those looking for a little more performance. With XMP 3.0 Profile 1, you can push the speed up to 5600 megatransfers per second. If you prefer a slightly lower speed but tighter timings, Profile 2 offers 5200 megatransfers per second at 42, 42, 42 timings. We've run some benchmarks and stress tests to give you an idea of how it performs. In general, dropping the speed and tightening the timings with the second XMP/Expo profile yielded better results for us on our test system. Paired with a Ryzen 7800X 3D, we saw anywhere from a 1 to 5% performance bump depending on workloads. All in all, the Crucial Pro DDR5 64GB RAM kit by Micron is a fantastic choice for first-time builders and enthusiasts alike.